Good evening. I'm still not 100% from sleep switching. I think it also... hello, Berserker Boy. Hello. Good evening. I learned how to play a new game yesterday, but that new game was Yahtzee. So it's kind of a case of like, I do have a story to tell, and that is pretty much my complete and utter disappointment in learning what Yahtzee was. I don't know why I thought it was a more involved game than it actually turned out to be. It was kind of okay, I requested Yahtzee. Well, it's going to take up like an hour or so, right? 5 minutes. 5 minutes to teach the game. That was it. Hello, Cinco Pancho. After that, we ended up playing Necronoma cards. Which is also simple, but at the same time, like, I guess everyone else is kind of like Yahtzeed out in general. It's not normally something that's requested, but at the same time, it's something that I guess is common enough that... I'm gonna show Necronoma cards real quick. How old is Necronoma cards? I feel like I've played it last, or rather not last. The first time I played it was probably like 6 years ago, but it's probably older than far older. Not far older, I should say, but wait, whoa. Sorry, just the top of Necronomicards.com is the trump card is back from the abyss. Oh, okay, that's what it is. And can I get a quick Necronomicards? I say Necronomicards is not terribly. Wow, there's a lot of weird cards in here just showing up. Okay. When I look at them, I'm really glad I don't have it up on. It's basically a matching game, essentially. That's what it boils down to. Let me open the image. Can I just open the image? Great. Wow, that's tiny. Okay, I guess we're going to go into the big thing. Let's grab this one. Save this JPEG. It's a matching game. And you have to match. You either have to get 3 pairs, 2 triplets, or I think like 6 of a symbol, maybe 4 of a symbol. Something fairly hard to get across 6 cards with a number of things. Right now I'm describing Necronoma cards, so I'm going to be playing Scythe today. Necronoma cards, I think, would be... I guess it's not impossible to play with AI, it's just... It's far more fun to play with people. Let me grab up... Where did I put it? I have it in here, don't I? Did I put it under software core? I may put it under software core. Where's... Where's fish rolls? Oh, I'm looking for the wrong media type. Okay. That would explain quite a bit. But Scythe is a worker placement game. It's a worker placement game and territory control. Actually, wait, I can add existing fish rolls. Sorry, fish rolls is the thing I remember it by. Even though it's not the correct name for it. But okay, so whoa, that's huge. I'm gonna move it behind me as well. Let's put it down here. So behind my head, I can also maybe like duck a little bit. Give me a second, I'm gonna duck. So card matching. So the symbols or the cards on the left and the right are the ones that you have to... Those are the majority of your hand. You can only have, I believe, 6 of them, maybe 7, something like that. and you have to match symbols, as I described. And once you have enough symbols match, that enables you to draw a summon card, which is one of the 3 in the center. There's an entire huge deck of them. It's a random draw. And when you draw it, you can either play it immediately or hold on to it. You can play it at, I don't want to say any point afterwards, but usually only after you draw a card and decide whether or not to play for another summon. Then you can play a summon. It doesn't matter which one. Or if the particular summon card says that you can draw or can play immediately. There are ones that say you can play the summon in reaction to anyone else's playing a summon or a curse card to cancel it out. Cancel out the effects, rather, not cancel out the card itself. Difference. So it also involves a lot of PvP. It involves a lot of PvP. You're throwing curses at other people. You are fucking them out of cards. You are stealing their cards. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It's pretty simple. It's rather small too, and it can be rather quick because normally you play it to, I believe, 7 summons, and whoever finishes that 7th summon wins. Or you can cut it down to lower. Although I want to say the longer it goes on, the easier it is to play catch up theoretically, because the game that I played, if we had drawn it at 5, it would have had a different outcome than when we ended up drawing at 7. The person who was in last at 5 at the 5th draw ended up being the first to draw 7. I think there's also a summon that allows you to like summon another one. There's a summon that doesn't do anything. But I guess they also have expansion cards, so that was what the trump card was about. But yeah, it's a little annoying too, because you can see here that I guess it's not as obvious here, but some of these symbols, the orientation matters. All the cards have to be upright, and there are some symbols that look very similar, but they're different colors. I say very similar. If it's dark and you're drunk, it can be a little difficult. You're going to be second guessing yourself. Let me see if I can find another matching hand, but another hand that's got some symbols where I'd be like, wait, are these matching? No, they're not. Can't, wait, this might be a good hand. This is probably a great hand to show this. Let me grab this one up. This works. This hand. I say hand. Hand can be anywhere from 1 to 6 or 7 cards. So you have, let's see. Actually, one of these cards is upside down, I believe. This one is upside down. The upper left card with the star pointing upwards is upside down. Those symbols aren't right. So the stars would match in this case because this one is upside down. And the same thing with the... I don't know how to describe it. It's also kind of annoying because it's kind of a... How do you describe this matching symbol? It's like a female symbol, except the branch line goes into the circle, and then there's an additional line underneath it. And then there's a case of, okay, so you have this style arrow thing and this style arrow, which when this is flipped, they're going to look kind of similar, except the arrow style is different and one line going through versus not through. Then there's a case of, so there's this Y here. There's another one that's a softer Y that's in gray and not purple, if that makes sense. And then there's some really funky symbols in there. I think there's also, we may have seen this in the previous image, a symbol like the one in the upper right card in the second column, the second one with the kind of like a, not exactly Bluetooth symbol. No, I guess the one above the Bluetooth symbol. Maybe if I can't like draw right on here, can I? I can't. I can do like a color source. I can do a color source. Ooh, that. Okay, let's do a really quick color source. So let's do it in red, actually. Can I? I can change the opacity on this, can't I? Give me a second. I could also probably add in borders and stuff too. Wait a second. I can change it to multiply. Haha. So this is cheating. This is cheating. So this one right here, this symbol, there's another symbol that's also fairly similar, except I'm pretty certain that it doesn't wave back up. It's not a waving flag. It's just kind of pointed downwards. Things like that. Things like that. Hello. Hello, Selling Saturn. Hope you're doing well. It's Necronomic Hearts. It's just describing a game I played earlier. Do I have the other image? I can grab up yet another image of it. And I've actually never seen Evil Dead 2 or 1 or any of them, so but this is what the cover, not cover, these are what the cards look like. So the bottom ones I believe are I believe that is the cards with summoning symbols, and the ones on the top in red are the summons. So the aim of the game is to get 7 summon cards out and played. You want 7 monsters. I say monsters. Unknowable creatures? Something like that. There's actually a special thing, I believe, for one of them, because they reference... The summons are references to various mythological creatures, things. So you'll have the King in Yellow, you'll have Damballa, you'll have... I'm trying to think. I know there's War, Famine, Death, and Plague, because there is a special thing where if all 4 of them are out and played by the same person, you don't need it anymore. The game is over. It's just done. It's just done. Oh, I think the Jabberwock is also in there, but the Jabberwock doesn't do anything. It's a summon, but it doesn't have anything special about it. And I guess they've added some summons to the game that they're advertising on necronomiccards.com. Anyway. Yeah. That was majority of the time after learning Yahtzee. All I know about Yu-Gi-Oh is from the TV show. Not even the Forbidden first season, only from like the second season, pretty much, with Taya and Joey from the Bronx, right? Or is he from Brooklyn? And things like that. Oh, hold on. I have tea, and I just realized I've been letting it oversteep. Give me 1 second. I have a tea ball this time. I went for the Irish whiskey cream tea. Okay. But no, Necronomic Cards is pretty fun. I wanted to see how old it was. What does it say? It's on a game that I own, but it's a game that someone in my group... It's from 2016. It's someone in my group that owns it. 2016. So just thinking like, it's only like 4 years old. It's not just 4 years old. It's 7 years. It's like 7 years old. It's like 7 years old. Yeah, it's a matching game. It's not terribly difficult. It's easy to break out. It's easy to break out. Unlike some other games I've been hearing about getting played today. That includes Scythe. Okay. I'm going to swap over. I'm also going to turn on the music for Scythe, because the Scythe music is not that bad. And you can't hear it yet, but I can. So I said I was going to play a normal game, so a normal game I shall play. Let me grab it up. I've played this once. I meant to play it. Ah, man. I feel like this game is cursed for me. I feel like it's cursed for me because the first time I wanted to play it, I think I slept in that day. So I ended up postponing it to the next day. And then I meant to play it last week and I just completely... I slept in way too much and thought like it wouldn't... I'll play something else. I'll save this for another time. And just barely. The only thing that got me out of bed was the only thing that got me out of bed was a cat. The only thing that got me out of bed was a cat. Okay. So, yeah, it's a really neat game. I've talked about this in the past. It's based on I believe a Polish artist's work, and they have right now advertising spiel. They are not paying me to say this, but there's a sequel to this game, Expeditions, that is actually due to come out in July. They just shut off pre-orders for it. Pre-orders opened at the beginning of February. They literally just shut off like 2 days ago. If I had played this on Tuesday, it would have been fine. Not fine, but like more advertising. Again, not being paid. This is just a cool game. And I actually haven't read through the thing for Expeditions yet. It's not, I don't know if it's considered, I've barely played Civilization. I've barely played Civ. I played like a tiny bit. And when you talk about like real-time strategies, I don't know if I have a whole lot of experience with that either. I mean, I'm just thinking about like, so I used to play Age of Empires, I think 2, 3, Age of Mythology and stuff like that when I was much younger. I played a lot of that. I also enjoyed Alpha Centauri, but at the same time I wasn't playing against actual people, so it's kind of, is that really real time? Probably not. And also, I mean, this is turn-based. So I don't know if that counts towards it. 400-year-old Book of Fairies stories that had a Kickstarter? I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, okay. So like a missed Kickstarter. Yeah. But I mean, I actually don't know it's not actually a Kickstarter exactly, it's just a pre-order period. Because this is a actual company, it's Stonemaier that's putting it out. And I don't necessarily know if they do a whole lot of Kickstarters, they just kind of have pre-orders open. You can be part of the first batch to have the game. Because they put out pretty decent games. I have Wingspan. I played Wingspan. And I remember when Wingspan came out, that was like the game to get that at certain conventions, and it was you had to show up on Thursday at the convention, or maybe it was early Friday morning, in order to get it before it sold out. So it might be one of those cases where, I think part of it is that you can, at Gen Con, if you pre-order it, you can pick it up at Gen Con. Give me a second, I just heard a thonk. I want to make sure everything's okay. Sorry. Cats. One of the cats has been like a bat out of hell in the hallway. Like a bat out of hell in the hallway. Another one has been very, I don't want to say obnoxious. It's very cute. It's also a bit, I want to say also worrisome that she's been very clingy. She's been extremely clingy. Extremely clingy. But yes, so even for the actual real life versions of these, they're not painted quite like this at all. They're just colored, I believe. I can't, okay, I can move it this way. You can choose for each model if you want it to be plain in the game or if you want it painted. But honestly, why the hell wouldn't you want this to be painted? And each one of these are unique. Like, all their mechs are unique. Themed after their respective groups. One just got spayed. I wish... I mean, it's more so during the day. It's more so during the day that I want them to be a little quiet. Like, thankfully they do mostly sleep during the day, but not like 100% during the day. Not 100%. One of them likes to play during the day. It's really rough when I'm trying to, like, sleep with her because it's just kind of a skitter all day across the floors. And then, like, chittering at the window, too. So the setting of this game is, I believe, 1920s Eastern Europe. But it's not Eastern Europe as we know it. It is, like, an alternate history period. The, I guess, concept phrase for this entire game is Iron Harvest. As you can kind of tell by the fact that this looks like weird farming, like weird rusty farming equipment, and then you've got a turret on top. Same here. I think it's much more here, like, no, not the bear. Red Star, Russia. Not Russia. It's not Russia. It is a different thing. They all have different names very slightly. Again, this came out in... Wait, actually, no. This did not come out in 2016. This came out... God, how many years ago? Like 5 years ago? Something like that? So, like, hey, look, it's a scythe. It's farming equipment, but at the same time, everything else. Everything else about this. So, maybe it might be a little bit more obvious when you see the workers or the characters, what they're based on as well. So, and also the design of the symbol. Let's see, worker. So, like, these are the totally not, I guess, Celtic Isles. Totally not Celtic Isles folk with their green mech. You have the Nords, I believe. The totally not the Nords with their bison. The totally not Russia with their tiger. And totally not China. Totally not China. The artist is the one behind, I believe, the concept of all this. And I don't know how long he's been working on it, but it's probably been a very long time. He has an art station where he shows all the work that he's been doing, and it's really cool. Let me check. And I believe that he's actually done other work for it too, or like there are other things. Iron Harvest is the name of the game that they put out based on the same world. Okay, let me double check. Jacob Rosalski. I'm probably pronouncing that really wrong. Let me check his art station. Yeah, his art station's really cool. And he's based in Poland. So, let's see. Lots of neat models. Lots of neat models. All these different factions have, I believe, different abilities, and then there's also going to be another thing that's going to come into play. We're going to resume. I don't have a game to resume. I actually don't have a game to resume. I don't know what's up. I'm gonna... Oh, it's grayed out. That's really... I wish it were a little bit more clear, because I think when it's smaller screen, like on OBS, I can see a little bit more clearly that it's not usable, but on here, maybe I really do need glasses. Maybe I really do need glasses. Give me a second. I'm going to grab some glasses. Give me a second. Where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? Okay. Nope. Actually, wait, hold on. I might have something else for this. I might have something else. I may have already done this. I just have to check. The answer is no, I didn't do it before. Oh man, I have to redo it. Okay, not too big of a deal. Not too big of a deal. I just wish I had made them at a more normal size to start. What? No, I want to grab this. I probably also should set up some things. Getting glasses straight. Getting it not tangled in the hair. Getting it not tangled in the hair is the biggest problem, I feel like. Not tangled. No. This is why you do things beforehand. I did do this beforehand, but I didn't save it, which is my problem. Okay, that's not so bad. That's not so bad. I think I can mostly live with this. Maybe not. As long as I don't look that way. As long as I don't look that way, it's fine. As long as I don't look that way. Which I'm going to do. Oh. Someday. Someday I'm actually going to buy myself some real glasses. Okay, not so bad. Not so bad. So, last time we did random, and I think this time we're also going to do random. We're going to allow undo of the last action. No ban mat combos. We'll include the promo cards, and we'll have invaders from afar. Actually, last time I didn't play with invaders from afar. I don't know if I want to do that quite yet because I don't think you're going to be able to see it, and I'll explain it when we hit the board. What invaders from afar, how much that would change the game, because it would change quite a lot, I feel like. Last time we did easy, we're going to ramp it up. I know what I'm doing this time. I know what my mistakes were. My mistakes were assuming that you could cross over certain rivers when it's not really not something you can do. Okay. It's more factions, but more specifically where the factions are. That's a big deal. Where the factions are is a huge deal. Give me one more second. I realized something. There we go. Don't sleep in. Don't sleep in. So it does add more factions. The thing is, the number of players also matters quite a bit, because if you have only, you can play 2-player, it's not going to involve as much conflict as 3-player. 3-player, you can still get away with not having a lot of conflict. 4-player, there's going to be bloodshed. There's going to be bloodshed. So we're going to just start with 3. We're only going to play with 3. You don't need to you don't need to get into PvP for it to be a successful game for yourself. So, we're playing as the Nords. We're playing as the Nords. Good morning. Good evening? Good evening. Good evening. It's not morning. I mean, like, I'll be breaking my fast, but it's not morning. It's not morning. For me. Let's see. Okay, so Nordics, the faction, they have... The workers may cross rivers. Workers may cross rivers. There are 3 different... That's fair. That's fair. I try to be a bit mindful of the time of day, personally. It's really nice having the warm tea. So there are 3 different types of tokens on the board that we're going to be caring about for the most part, that belong to each player. Everyone has a character, which in our case is this... I was going to say a bear of a man, but he's actually on a boar, because there's another character that has a bear. So this boar of a man. We have a boar of a man riding on top of a boar. That's our character, our iconic character. He has a separate meeple, so to speak. Then we have workers, which we already saw, and they're like the generic looking tokens that are going to look Nordic, vaguely, in our case. And then we're going to have mechs, except we won't start with mechs. We have to build mechs, and mechs are also individual looking to our particular factions. I believe since we're blue, that means that we get the boat-shaped one. I don't think he's going to sound very boorish, although I'm going to assume that they're, honestly, with the amount of work that's been put into here, there's like actual plot and like he's got an actual character behind him, but I don't know what that is. So gonna leave that. No, I think there's another group that had wolves. Let me double check. I have the rulebook up. The rulebook. A black and white copy of the rulebook is available on the Stonemaier website, I have found. They do that for all their games, though. You can buy, I guess, like a proper copy, but the black and white copy is fine enough. Where is it? Actually, I can link that too. I feel like that's something I should do for these games. I feel like that's something I should do. Like have a bot occasionally like pop out like, hey, I'm playing X and it's available here and you can check out the rules here if you want to. If you want to follow along and you miss something. So the game is here. Yeah, pretty much. The game commands. Actually, man, that's smart. That's smart. I'm gonna do that right now. Sorry. I'm gonna do that right now. How hard can it be to add new command on the fly? Add chat message. Send. Okay. Okay, I saved it, so let's see. It's gonna look like that. Excellent. Huh. Oops, I never turned off Nightbot. I forgot to turn off Nightbot. Okay, well. Rip Nightbot. You're gonna get murdered after this stream. You're gonna get murdered after this stream. Okay. Just realized it went dead silent. So we received our faction and we also received our map. Not map. I shouldn't say map. So board style, so to speak. We get benefits from individual boards. Playmat might be a better way of putting it, actually. And that, I believe, is our structure bonus here. So neighbor lakes. Number of lakes adjacent to your structures. Only count each lake once. So we get a bonus for that. Unless it's the engineering part. It might actually be the engineering part. And then we have secret objectives. Roll up your sleeves with the common man. Have $2 or less, at least 4 workers, and at least 7 popularity. And harvest advantage. Control at least 3 farm territories at the end of your turn. At least 3 farm territories. Okay. It's kind of a... I actually personally need to look... Oh, thank you, Art Crest, for the resubscription. Welcome back to the garden. Just double checking something really quickly. Again, it has been like... It's been... God, 2 weeks? 2 weeks and a bit since I last played. Because I think I last played on like a Tuesday? I think it's been like half a month since I last played. And I had to learn Yahtzee. I had to learn Yahtzee between. That's my excuse. I had to take 5 minutes out of my day. One single day in that two and a half weeks. In that half month to learn Yahtzee. It's blocked. It's blocked Scythe out of my mind. So we have the player mats. Faction mats. We have the home base, types of stuff, faction selection, airship module. We're not doing the airship module setup. Okay, that might be part of it. Now I can say Yahtzee when something lucky happens. I don't know if I'm that good at Yahtzee. I think I'd rather yell something else. There's a Mahjong game going on actually that I want to check out the VOD for later. I could. That's fair. That's fair. Just thinking like I'd rather have like a Mahjong term yearly. I'm not like super good at Mahjong, but I know a bit about Mahjong. I guess like 5 or so years ago, I would play it. It was a good time waster in between things on my phone, but I was playing against AI. I haven't actually played too much against actual other people, mostly against AI. But I guess the AI are not like the toughest, but someone got kind of tough. It is a very good app at the time. There weren't too many options. I don't think Mahjong Soul was considered like super good at that time. But I guess it was also better than trying to go through 10 hole if you don't know Japanese, or using the Flash game. A Flash game. There was a Mahjong Flash game, that's how I learned it. Like, God, if it's 2023, nearly closer to 2 decades ago than 1 decade ago. Back when Saki came out. You've read a couple. Did you read Kaiji or Akagi or something like that? Is it one of those two? Because those are the common ones. I feel kind of bad because I've never read either of those ever. My introduction was cute girls doing cute things age, and that was Saki. Oh yeah, so you did read? You read Saki. I wonder if it was much better written than it was watched. It was fun to watch, but at the same time when I first watched it, I didn't understand Mahjong. It was just cute girls doing cute game thing. Though the second time I watched it, though, I did understand roughly Mahjong. I may not have understood it quite to the high level, quote unquote, that you would probably want to for it necessarily, to get like all the stupid fancy moves. But like, I can't name all the Yaku or anything like that, but the robbing a con situation and stuff like that, like, okay. Neat. That's like a horrific edge case It's a miracle. It's a miracle. Okay. It's not exactly a reproducible thing. I mean, it is, I guess, sort of, but not actually, if that makes sense. Like, it does happen. That's why there's a rule for it. It's just, you cannot rely on it. Thank you, Harley Quinn Siren, for the follow. Actually, one more thing I'm going to do. I'm going to add that. I'm gonna add that to my title. So if people ask, I can point, like, it's Pashiri game. I've only watched a few episodes of Hajime no Ippo. Only the first, I guess, 4 or so. There is, I'm just thinking, like, the one sports manga, well, I say manga, anime I really enjoy is cycling. I like Yowape. I like Yowamushipuro. I haven't actually caught up on all of it, though, which is unfortunate. I say caught up. I'm, like, way out of date, but I did really enjoy what I watched, and I like rewatching it, and I'd like to watch more. I just have to set aside the time. And because of the whole cycling thing, I also like, it's sort of sports, but also it's like a really fringe, it's a really fringe kind of cycling sport. There's long riders, which is a cute girls learning about long distance cycling for fun, for sport, if that makes sense. So what they're doing is they're participating in basically, like, I don't want to say 5Ks. They're not 5Ks. They're participating in, like, kind of casual events that are meant for people who are interested in long distance riding, but not necessarily the competitive aspect of it. It's just an event to be in, and one of them is a flèche. I don't know. It's French for arrow, and that's one of the ones that they kind of focus on in the show. It's all about enjoying yourself as you learn how to cycle from point A to point B and have fun with the slow pace of travel, being able to take in the views, getting stronger from it, and also being able to eat like really delicious things afterwards. Being able to go for that ice cream, being able to eat that food. Yeah, it's long riders. They also sell kits for it. I want to one day buy one of the kits, but the problem with that is that their order situations are, I never remember when they're open. It's a real problem. It's a real problem. I never remember when they're open. By the time I remember, they're closed. For the type of kit I want. But yeah, long riders. Not to be confused with the American Western long riders. Okay. We're here for Scythe-ish. God, the music for this, where it's kind of dissonant like this. Okay, so we're gonna zoom out a little bit. It gets a little gray, but that's fine. That's the style we went for. So we have the mainlands, and then we have non-mainlands. You'll see here that we are blue here. And blue starts with 3 tiles available to them, theoretically, before it's cut off by this river. And you'll notice the same thing here for our friendly, I don't remember their name. Give me a second. God, I hate the white on white here. It's probably a lot, yeah, it's a lot better this way, but with the particular angle I was at there, that was not great. Okay, our faction ability, that's not what I wanted. One of the names. Give me a second. I'm gonna pop up the rules real quick for that. Because I remembered what their names were last time, but I don't remember what their names are this time. Give me faction names, Okay, so Nordic, Saxony, Polania, Crimea, and Rusiet are the names. It makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's going for that dismal. It's going for that dismal atmosphere-ish. That's part of the charm. This is also why I wanted to play this more so during winter than in summer. I think it feels like this feels like a good time of year for this in terms of seasons. Like, Root does have a winter map. Root does have a winter map, so it's one thing to play Root for winter. Everdell is more of, I guess, Everdell's all throughout the year, but the map itself, the imagery, lends itself more to summer. It's a bright and cheery game. Okay. So, Rusviet here also has 3 tiles before it's also cut off by a river to enter any other tiles. Same with Crimea here. Okay, so when I hover, it does it. They've got 3 tiles before river. Same with Saxony, 3 tiles river. Same for Polania, 3 tiles river. These ones don't count because they're... Oh, they do count. So Albion and Togawa do not have that limitation. They are actually situated on the mainland. And these are only available in the expansion. These 2 particular factions. Which is why I was saying that I don't want to include them as an option, because I feel like that might be... Thank you for the water. Give me a second. I will take a sip of tea. It's a Irish whiskey cream today. Hello. Are you having a good day, Boniface? But yeah, the expansions have immediate access to the mainlands in theory. I think that is... Especially for a small game like this with only 3 people, I'd rather not introduce that quite yet, especially since the only game I've played before has been easy, and we're bumping up to medium this time. Another important thing, and this is something that I did not quite pick up the first time I played, or the first time I played, I have played the physical copy of the game back closer to when this came out some time ago, some years ago. Some years ago. So yeah, it wasn't my first time playing, just first time in a very long while. So we cannot actually cross over into people's like home territory areas. It's simply not allowed. Like, you can cross the river onto the mainland, you can't go and try and take like their village or their mountain or their tundra. Another neat thing about this game, this is a fairly well made digital game again. It will it's not reorientate, it's reorient itself. All the symbols on the board. It's got a bunch of options, and as you saw, it has like the cute little meeples. Super cute. Okay. Another big mistake I made last game that I'm trying not to repeat this time is that I thought like, oh, it's round 14. This is late game. I'm not going to bother with this particular objective. And that was like the worst thing I could have done. I should have done it earlier. 14 turns in is not 8 end game. That's like mid game. That's like mid game. This is going to go into like 20s or 30s. It's going to go into 20s or 30s. Rounds, I mean. Okay. Also, real quick, like, oh god, I put it into board games. Just kind of, I'm not still in retro somehow, am I? Okay. So again, our workers are able to walk over water. Normally, we have to get carried over by mechs, I believe. Like, everything has to be carried over by mechs. Actually, real quick check of the rules. I want to make sure characters can cross water or characters cannot cross water. As I said, there are 3 different types of meeples on the board. And workers generally cannot cross over water unless they're being carried by mechs, which can cross water, but mechs you have to build. But characters, I don't remember if they're able to cross over water naturally or not, or if that's something that they have to earn. I feel like that's a case. Let's see. It's such a benefit having PDFs nowadays where you can just search for water. You can search for water. Okay. By default, units may not move across rivers or onto lakes. This rule is broken by some mech abilities. Okay. Okay, so yeah, the character cannot, unless I suppose we earn the water walk ability for them. Good to know. Good to know. But yeah, they also describe in here just the difficulty in automata, or automata. Automa personality. So you can have a designer, they have a designer's note. Scythe is a game that allows for different playstyles. If players like to build up their engine peacefully, they can do so with limited conflict. If, on the other hand, they like confrontational games, Scythe Automa accommodates that style as well. I need to get that pattern into my mind. Automa. Automa? I keep thinking automata. Okay, let's see. So that's what we did last time, and that's generally the way I do tend to take games like this. I'm not huge into conflict, which is what has cost me. It's cost me in the past. So the basic play right now is going to be, we have to select one of these 4 cards. Oh, that's gonna be, wait, hold on. We're playing against Scythe and Saxony. Thank you, Void Wave, for the follow. Onomatopoeia? Shh. You mean like that? That's an onomatopoeia, right? Shh. Or is it more like a swing? But okay. So it's actually kind of rough because we're gonna be right next to someone here. But it doesn't have to be confrontational. More so, so as I said, everyone has different ability. I don't remember what their ability is over here. Ours is Water Walk for workers, but their Scythe gets to ignore what I'm about to say. So normally, what people have to do is they take one of these 4 columns and they are able to perform the actions for payment, oftentimes, in that column. And once they select that for the round, the next round they can't choose that same action. Scythe, however, is allowed to ignore that. They can do that almost all the time, except in one special case, which we're not gonna have to worry about because we're not playing Scythe this time. We're not playing Scythe. And thank you, Vocal Knight, for the follow. There's a lot of... This isn't quite... It's not truly asymmetrical, but it's got some slight asymmetrical elements. Okay. Just real quick thinking about what I'm gonna do here. What is the best... Fuck. Fuck! I just realized something! So, each one of these tiles, when you produce, it's going to produce something... It's gonna produce, yeah, whatever's related on here. So, if I say produce... you select a territory, and it will produce whatever is on that territory. So on this one, it's going to be oil. They're going to produce oil. Oil is used for, I believe, upgrading? Yeah, upgrading. Metal is used for making mechs, which would be this bottom action. Like you need to, in order to deploy a mech, you need to pay 4 metals, but you first have to produce those 4 metals, which are tied to the land, not to the faction, unfortunately. Unfortunately? Depends on if you like stealing. If you like stealing, it's great. And you can produce more workers if you have a village, which we don't start with a village. We can't produce more workers right away, which is really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. So our 2 competitors, I'm going to call them competitors. They're not enemies, not exactly yet. Have the same initial map configuration. They have the same initial tiles as each other. We're the odd man out. And I think ours is like one of the only ones that doesn't start with a village, which is just kind of like, why the fuck don't we start with a village? Oh, you know why? Because we can water walk. Oh, right over here. We can water walk right over here to it, so that's probably why. It's probably a balancing act. That's why. Okay. That makes sense. So we actually... We can move and then produce. That might be a better option. Like, we can't do it on the same turn. God. Village produces... Yeah, okay. And farm... Okay, so there's a couple different tiles. There's the tundras, produce oil. These produce wood, iron, people, workers, food. Food is used to pay for enlisting recruits. And those are the only 4 tile types-ish. There's also tunnel tokens, which tunnels are connected. And there's also the factory in the center, which is kind of special. Factory is kind of special. Last time I just sent my character and sat in the factory forever. It was kind of a waste, but at the same time, no one else got it. No one else wanted to go in there. I don't know if that would work in a real life game, though. I think it's just the AI were cowards. I can't blame them. I was playing Rustia. Tigers are pretty fierce. Okay, I'm actually gonna do something. Sorry, just like, can I? Damn it. Just like, can I trade for people? But they don't count as resource tokens. They don't count as resource tokens. If I do this, it's just sort of a, we're gonna do it. We're gonna produce. And we can't actually do any upgrades. So as I said, we're going to be going through the stuff available on a column. And we have the option, like we could skip theoretically either one, I believe. It's just that like there's very little reason why you'd want to skip the top. At least at this stage. Like it would be foolish. And right now for the action, we don't have any oil, so we can't really do anything about it. So we're just gonna end. Right. I should also describe what the end game here is. The end game is fortune, essentially. We want to be the most fortunate, which means we want to have the most money. We want to have the most money. There is actually a quick cheat sheet for like the score, which we could do right now, and you can see the score is whatever. Score's whatever. It doesn't really have a whole lot. The game does not... The game ends when someone hits 6 stars. And there's a different counter for how you get to six stars. Okay. You'll see that we have little tokens on the ground here, and these are indicating that they're just kind of lying around. Again, they're not tied to us, they're tied to the land. What do they do? 2 oil? How did they make a mech already? How did they make a mech already? I don't know. This has to be something special. There's no way they should be able to make... There's no way they should be able to make it yet. I'm going to real quick check the rules for that. I'm gonna check the rules for that. As I said, I don't know what their special ability is, so it's just sort of a maybe this is it? Maybe that's it. Still. Dang. Okay. That's so... Okay, so I have the huge... They have a PSD in here for the huge player mats from Tabletop Sim. As I said, the Stonemaier has like almost all the paperwork available for their stuff for free available on their website. So it's just sort of a case of finding the right piece of paper for it. And it might also be a case of maybe it's not considered a part of the rulebook because it's just a part of your board. Huh. Characters. Airship module, combat okay, 34. We need page 34. Does it feel like a board game night yet? Looking up the rules. How the fuck did someone do that? Okay. I should have done this first. I should have done this first. Okay, so Ruspiats. You may choose the same section on your player mat as the previous turns, and the description for that is: the Ruspiats push their people hard, day after day, to achieve their ultimate goal. While other factions let their infrastructure take a break from turn to turn, the Ruspiat faction may choose the same section of their player mat as the previous turns. This ability does not apply to factory cards. That's what tripped me up last time, factory cards. So, I do not believe we have to worry about Crimea. All we have to worry about is Saxony, which is dominate. There is no limit to the number of stars you can place from completing objectives or winning combat. That is the Saxony ability. So, it may not be a part of their faction ability. It might have to do with the board that they received. I'll be checking that out next. So Saxony's description for that particular faction ability. Saxony's methodical approach to conquering the Eastern lands surrounding the factory is all about asserting force and completing specific missions. The Saxon faction may complete both of their objective cards. They don't discard the second card after achieving the first. And they are not limited to 2 combat victory stars. If Saxony has available stars, after winning combat, they must place the star. Yeah, so let's not get into combat with Saxony. It's a good thing they're really far away. It's a really good thing. It's a super good thing they're far away. Okay, and then they have the extra one, Vesna, Fenris, combat. That's not what I want. We don't want combat. Oh. I got really excited because I thought they had a table of contents that was actually text-based, but it's just all the pages again. I really like it when they have like actual tables of contents, quick ways to check things, quick ways to flip to certain pages. Okay, so factories, objectives, alliances, and bribes. Again, not something you have to worry about in a AI game, but in a real game, it is something to worry about. So there's the modular board, which is 16. That's probably it. That's probably 16. Oh, I have to go further up. I probably should have just I should just grab the physical copy. Faction specific notes, band combos. So they don't describe the player mats, do they? I don't see. If I just look up mat, how? There's 254 mentions of the word mat in here. Maybe if I put it down to player mat? That's 58. No, that's 96. Okay. Is that really it? Resources, types of units, setup. Faction selection, airship module setup. Set up with 5 or 6 starting cards. Player mat. Okay. Faction mat. Player mat. Player mat. Player mat. Player mat. Faction mat. Okay. Maybe Matt should have... Maybe Matt should have. There's just so many mentions of Matt. And... I'm just going to accept that it did. I mean, I want to say, it's AI. It can't have broken the rules without a good reason. So it must have been able to legally do that. I just don't know why it was able to legally do that. Aside from, it was probably from, as you described, the faction, not faction, but like the player Matt combo. It's just, we don't have access to that information right here. I don't have access to that. That was the one thing that kind of, not irked me, but it's just sort of, I'd like to have a more clear listing of the different starting combos and what they do. Because right now I have to physically go to the rulebook to find, like, oh, this is what this group can do. Yeah. Like, I can see what my own faction does, but I should have that pretty well ingrained, honestly. Just the fact that this happens like that. No, sorry, this is cool. Like, no representation, small representation, zoom in and it gets larger. Okay, I did a thing I cannot do. Produce again. As you can see, it's kind of grayed out. Cannot click, not able to. So what we're actually going to do, we can't bolster power. We can move. We can move. There's a reason not to move. And the question is, where do we move? What? So we are gonna move to we're gonna move 2 units, and I just realized, wait, I could actually move my big guy. I can move my big guy. Also, it's kind of a case of, what do I want wood for again? Right, okay, so we're gonna move him. We're gonna move him. And you can only move one? You can only move one. So we're gonna move him over here so we can produce more. Do I want to carry it? No. I mean, yes, I do want to. I just need to actually, like... He needs to pick up the wood. He needs to pick up the wood. Actually, wait. I can move him over here, theoretically, and then I can move this guy into the village over there. That might be the... No. Yeah? No? Yes. I want to cover this corner a little bit. It might bring me into conflict, but I think it will be better in the end to, like, put my foot down on it early. He can expand out, like, this side. He can expand out that side. He doesn't have to fight me for this corner. Give me the corner. And it's kind of a, we take barrel? We take barrel? We take barrel. We take barrel. And we don't have any food, which kind of sucks. So they just upgraded something. Everything sounds so dismal. Okay, our turn. We could theoretically trade? This is also really neat, being able to see, like, what the full... I don't want to say full score, but being able to see the... what people have in more detail. Cheat sheet. It's a cheat sheet. It's a useful cheat sheet. Actually, hold on real quick. So all of these are symbols for different concepts in the game. We have popularity, power, combat cards, and money as before. And the rest of it is stuff that mostly counts for stars. Mostly counts for stars. I say, as if mechs weren't shoved in there. We don't necessarily want to do that. We could produce again. If we trade, though, we're gonna produce again. we're gonna produce again. After that, we have 3. We could theoretically go for Endless Recruit. I think we're gonna do that. We're gonna do this option next. Even though at the same time it's tied to move. Also gonna double check our objective. So, as I said, 6 stars means that the game ends. And one of those stars can be earned by completing your objective. You don't need to complete like an entire huge set of things to earn 6 stars necessarily. But you have to complete like a bunch of them if you're not getting involved in a lot of battle, honestly. Okay, Harvest Advantage is actually not gonna be terribly difficult. Because all I need to do that is I need to have 1 person on 3 farms. And there's 2 farms like literally right here. So not the worst for me. And then there's the case of roll up your sleeves with a common man. And that is have $2 or less, at least 4 workers, at least some popularity. So be poor, be popular, which we have a popularity of 2. We have a popularity of 2. It's not good. We're going to be using that to... You use popularity to do things. Same thing with power and combat cards. Like, you earn them, but you also pay for things with them. Basically, if the symbol is in green in one of these columns, that means when you perform this action, you earn that bit, I suppose. Like, that type of object. If it's in red, you lose 1. It's pretty direct, 1 for 1, I believe. Which is why there's repeating things. So if you do this action, you pay a gold, essentially. You pay a piece of fortune to earn 2 resources of your choice. Hello, Skog. Let's see. It's just more of a case of, I've diversified, and it's not a bad thing necessarily. I was gonna move, but I could also trade and get 2 resources of my choice. I was thinking of doing that, and it's kind of a case of food. We're doing food. We're actually going to do this. Wait. If I do wood. Wait, no. If I do oil, I can upgrade and make future things cheaper. So I think I'm going to actually do this. And we're gonna do oil. We're gonna do that. It's a little, maybe strange isn't the right word. Maybe strange is not quite the right word. And he's just able to do whatever he wants off on the side. Okay, our turn. So what we're going to do, we cannot do that same action. We can, however, produce again. We can produce on 2 territories. We are going to produce iron and people. Holy shit, we produce a lot of people. And we are going to actually pay 3 to unlock a benefit from a top right. When we do this, unlock an extra benefit for any top row action with this symbol. And we get to decrease the cost of any bottom row action with that symbol. And these do not have to be in the same column. It's any. Any. Oh, first we have to pay for it. First we have to pay for it. Like, what does it want me to do? Let's pay. Gotta pay up. Okay. It's also nice because it does these sorts of UI changes specifically for this. It makes it very clear what you're supposed to do. At least I think so. I do have my glasses out after all. Okay. What do we want to do? What do we want to get rid of? Or rather, it unlocks an additional thing that we're able to do. We might do a lot more trade this time, honestly. I definitely want to do the food thing. Okay. Kind of a wait. Okay, no, I'm thinking of something else. I'm thinking of something else. For a second, it's kind of a wait, why isn't it popping up with this one particular option? And then I remembered, oh wait, no, it's this. When you do this, you get a one-time bonus, as well as an ongoing bonus. I was waiting for the one-time bonus. All my people. All my people. Okay, so we're actually going to move them. It kind of sucks though, because we can literally, if we had mechs, it'd be one thing because they can like pile in a bunch of people into the mech to move them. But with this, we're limited to literally 2 people. We're literally limited to 2 people. Okay, and here. Oh shit, we don't have food! Sorry. I need like a little loading icon over my head like, wait, I'm gonna do the thing, and I don't have food to pay for this. I don't have food to pay for this! Do I eat it or do I undo? Do I eat it or do I undo? It's fine. It's fine. We're just gonna do it later. We're gonna do it later. Elves make mistakes too. It's not only human to err. It's not only human to err. Actually, wait, hold on. Okay. Just checking to see, none of them have moved their... None of them have moved that yet, which is a little worrisome. Their character. None of them have moved their character yet. Like, I suppose also the case of it, they can't really go very far. Like, maybe I... Shh. Loading. I can't actually river hop the character, so I'm in the same position as them when it comes to that. That's my fault. That's my fault. Okay. Gonna trade. Or we could produce. We could produce. We'd only produce 2. We don't have any oil. Same thing here. Yeah. Same thing here. Oh? Do you know each other? From Pren? It's effectively the same outcome. It's just a case of it costs me power versus money, and money is endgame. But actually, hold on real quick. Okay, there's no way that they have stars. I feel like this is more easily something I can acquire again. And if I had planned this better, it would have worked a little bit more. But I have not, so it does not. And I have not enough metal. I only have 2 metal. I need 2 more metal to make a mech. I need 2 more metal to make a mech. The thonks. The thonks. But when I was much younger, as I said, I did play Age of Empires and such against AI, and once upon a time, I played with my brother and my father. They also enjoyed the game. That's how I learned about it. I played their copies. And we had a little LAN party going on, and my brother fucking whipped our asses. I remember he used to, I suppose, play with people online a lot more back in the day when it wasn't quite so common. I think there was, what, Westwood Studios? Is that what it was called? And they had an online service? Although, that may have been Command & Conquer. That was something else that they enjoyed playing. I didn't pick up on it as much. So just... I was taking it at my slow casual pace, and then my brother just fucking whips in and like demolishes everything. It was kind of a, You didn't understand the game? More of D&D? Well, I mean, it was a digital game for Age of Empires? And I never actually have asked if I don't know if my brother's ever played D&D or anything like that. I think at that time it would have probably been like, maybe too... It's weird to say like maybe too nerdy, but considering I'm describing him like playing Age of Empires and such. But more of a case, I guess it was a different crowd even back in that day. A different crowd. Yeah. I was very casual. Age of Mythology was pretty neat, but I for some reason I didn't feel quite as attached to it as I did to Age of Empires. Maybe it was too slick. I'm not certain. Okay, so we can't choose that one. It's more of a case of, oh right, we could do this, and then we can move first. So it's kind of a case of, where do we move? We have to move 2. How many workers can we have? I think it's up to like 8. Ah. Well, I want to say at least a lot of the older games. Have a good night. Have a good night. Oh, you meant for the game that I'm currently playing. Sorry. Have a good night. Your brother bought a graphics card for Age of Mythology? I think I would have to actually wait, hold on one second. When did Age of Mythology come out? Because the timing of that might actually explain a little bit. Because my very first computer was actually a secondhand one from my brother, 2002. That would have actually been... I think you may have solved a reason why I got a new computer, quote unquote new computer from him as a present, like his old used computer. He probably upgraded because he wanted to play new games, honestly. And he just like didn't trash, but like just give it to your little sister. It's a Christmas present. She'll appreciate it. It was probably not exactly around that time. I had the computer a little earlier than that, my own personal one, actually a few years now I think about it, but more of a case of, he already had a custom computer at the time. It wasn't something off the shelf. I know that because at one point I did have to describe to other people what my computer was. And it was kind of like, cool, it's like not HP or whatever, it's like a whole bunch of custom parts. And like, yeah, it's got like 10 whole gigs. It's got like 10 whole gigs. It's not like they were very impressive parts. It was a home built computer at the time. Yeah, kind of cheap. All he had to do was, 10, holy shit, it was 10 whole gigs, yeah. When that drive actually burnt out, we got it replaced for free with an 80 gig drive, I think at the time, simply because the 10 gig one didn't exist anymore. So that was kind of neat too. Like, oh, let me just go back. Let me bring this back to the manufacturer for warranty exchange. They don't make it anymore, so you get a free upgrade, or you get like a really cheap upgrade. The computer was having issues when I received it, though. I still remember. It... I think it was a week before Christmas or something like that. I heard horrific noises coming from my brother's space. And I think it was the computer having like a very audible malfunction of some sort. Like it was going ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. And that was my introduction to my first computer. I named it Lucifer. It did not improve after that. I mean, it didn't make the ka-chunk noises anymore, but it was... it had some problems. It had some problems. Yeah. It was a thing, like, oh, I want to download something. I have to delete something now. I want to watch this show. But I can only keep, like, so many episodes. And it takes so long to download the next episode, so having to be judicious. And being very careful about, like, okay, quality of audio for things, but at the same time space. So, like, do you go for the 128, or do you go for 172 or 320? Not dial-up. Not dial-up at that point, no. My family was pretty well off for that. We... very, very, very early on, my family ended up having their own line, so we didn't have any competition between who's on the phone and who gets internet. And I think once it was available, like, immediately snatched up being able to have multiple computers on one line, because there were, as I said, there were a lot of people in the household who wanted to play things online between my father and my brother and I. And even before I had my own computer, just competition between those two, I think. And potentially like another third or fourth person. I mean, I remember the dial-up noises. I know with the, like... Oh, God, can I even do it? That's not how it goes exactly, but you kind of get the idea, right? You kind of get the idea. Yeah, I do remember that time frame. I do remember hearing those noises. Okay. I had a plan. I forgot what the plan was. My plan was... computer screaming. Ooh. DSL was cheaper than having an extra line. That's kind of sad, but at the same time, at least they did upgrade, right? They did upgrade. My family upgraded pretty quickly for that, but personally, I didn't really upgrade to like a smartphone until kind of late, honestly. And the same thing with getting a cell phone as well. I was a bit late on that. I still remember why I ended up... Actually... I got a cell phone, I guess, like shortly... Not shortly, like... within a year or so of... having a medical emergency. That was kind of a case of like, you need a cell phone. It's a good idea to have a cell phone. Let's see. Hello, Fantastico. Just playing Scythe, just trying to remember what my plan was. I had a plan, I've forgotten it, and now it's kind of a case of, I cannot do this. I was going to move. Are clips allowed in chat? Why not? Why not? Clips of who? Clips of who? I'm not going to say no, even if it's a clip of someone else, especially with someone playing Scythe. What? I actually didn't want that. Wait, hold on. No, I don't want that. We're gonna move, and we're gonna move over here, I think, so that we can... We're gonna move. Move here. Oh, no, we want to transport resources. We're taking the resources with us. And then I guess the next case is we're going to move over here. I think it was more so... Do I do this? I'm gonna do this too. Oh, right, we can afford this. We can afford this. This gives us a bonus. Computer scream! I guess I know what's gonna go in my thank you message tonight on Twitter. Oh, I don't really have a whole lot of official rules. I probably should add a few more, but I've only been adding them as I've needed them, and most of it has been like, please speak English and don't be too weird. Don't be weird. Clips are fine. Clips are fine. Thank you for clip. Thank you for clip. Now my shame is not going to leave Twitch. Now my shame is not going to leave Twitch. You're not being weird. You're not being weird. It's more so like, oh man. It's kind of a, I don't necessarily know all the time where the line should be drawn for some things that are said. Like if the very first thing you say in chat is, Mommy, sorry, Mommy, sorry, Mommy, sorry, then it's kind of a, that's a timeout. I think that's a timeout. Am I being too strict if I time someone out for saying that as the very, very first thing? I'm not, okay, so I also played Vampire the Masquerade, not Vampire the Masquerade, well I guess it's Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines of New York. And one of the things I did in that game is I was a mod for a cam girl, except she was doing a blood play show essentially. She was doing like a self-snuff show, but she's a vampire, so like she can't die. And I was a mod for her. I was a mod for her and had to figure out like when do I let people kind of like play. Not a lot of play. Right. Right here, for instance, talking about this. Okay, we're gonna do the thing. We're gonna do the one-time bonus. Yeah? Oh, right, I have to select the grain. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. Oh, it's just back now. Thank you, Trevor Banfield, for the follow. Don't hire me to be your mod, Hayden. Don't hire me to be anyone's mod. That's the moral of the story. Okay, so we're gonna get a one-time bonus, but before that we have to pick a longer bonus. A long game bonus. What do we think people are gonna be doing? Upgrading. There's a limit to the number of upgrades they can do. There's also Enlist. Both of these are pretty good, but I think this is probably actually gonna be the best one. It's gonna get us combat cards. Holy shit, I just realized that. So we have combat cards. So the combat cards are really only useful in combat and to pay for certain things-ish. Our enemies, I say enemies, our competitors have 4 combat cards each. We only have 1. But what we have is a fucking 5. There's a limit to how many combat cards you can play in battle. I believe it's 1 combat card per meeple you have in the battle. The fact that we have a fucking 5 is pretty. So workers don't enter combat, essentially. It's only really mechs and characters. So if they were to move that mech over here, our workers would just flee back home. Yeah, isn't there like a huge winter storm going on or something, I've heard? Maybe it's that affecting things? I could be wrong. Okay. Oh! There's a counter token, and I kind of forgot about it. Did we already do it? Give me a second. What? Kind of a, encounter token. Did we flip it? I guess we didn't. Or we did. We already got it? That's so weird. Okay. What do we want to do next? We have 2 over here. So we can't move! We can't move! Okay, we can produce, and that would get us 2 metal and one something else of our choice, essentially. At the cost of a power. Like yeah, power. That's a better option than this. Oh, no, I want to do this. I want to do this. And then it's a case of, do we want to produce another worker? And I don't know if we do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 5 workers out. Do I want to produce another worker yet? I feel like I do, actually. And we don't have any oil, so we can't do the second half. We cannot do the second half. Riverwalk. We want Riverwalk. And we get to place it somewhere. And we're gonna place it, I feel like somewhere... Oh, we can only place it on one of 2 locations. We're gonna place it over here. We're gonna place it over here! So I guess I didn't actually need Riverwalk because I'm placing it on the mainland. It just meant that it won't be able to retreat back. That's it. For the turn. For the turn. We are, how many rounds in? 10 rounds. So you can kind of see where I said like, oh, 14. I shouldn't be focusing on this. And it's kind of, we haven't really gotten very far at all in here. We have not. And look at our cute little boat. Cute little boat. Okay. I'm really thankful that I haven't had too many issues with internet connections myself. I only have had one major issue recently in the past time since I've lived here, and that has been a vehicle struck the cord, the wire, outside and tore it down. They tore down the wire. So they took it out for a couple houses. They took it out for a couple homes. Yeah, that was unexpected. I heard a huge snap as what sounded like a giant vehicle went through, which was kind of unusual. And then the internet connection went out really quickly after that. It hasn't happened since, and I guess it's not a super common occurrence, thankfully. I don't know if there's any sort of like indicator to let people know, like, hey, if you're over like 15 feet tall, don't go through here. It's gonna be a bad time for you, but mostly for the people around here. But it could also be a bad time for you since you're taking down a live wire. Like, I'm used to some groups having issues with, like, I guess rented trucks and stuff sometimes. They go through areas and they don't realize there's not enough clearance, so they get their tops torn off, they ruin the bridge. There's some areas I know where it's like a very common occurrence, and they have multiple signs leading up to it. Multiple signs leading up to it. And it feels like every other, I want to say like every 4 or 5 months, there's another like incident and the area is closed because someone hit the bridge again. Yeah, really short bridges. Really, well, I say really short bridges. Yeah. It's really bad too because the bridges are not like pedestrian bridges or something like that. They are actively in use bridges. So it interferes with what's going over the bridge as well as what's going under the bridge. And they have a difficult time adjusting the height of the bridge because it's something that takes a lot of work to change in this particular case. It's institutionalized, perhaps is a good way to put it. It's, I don't want to say historical exactly, but more of a case. It's an old bridge. It's an old bridge. And it's really hard to get some things done with NIMBYs. It's really hard to get some things done with NIMBYs. Okay. We have a mech. We finally have a mech. I say finally, it's not even like mid-game yet. We're going to do this. Do we... Wait a second. It's kind of a case of... We're gonna do this. We're gonna move. I guess like the... Wait, you know what? Boop. 2, 3, 4. We have 6. So it's just a case of, like, what do I want to do here specifically? What do I want to do here specifically? If we stay here... I think there's only 8 total. Actually, no, I don't want that one. I want this guy. We're gonna move him over here. Proper mecha anime name? I haven't actually watched a whole lot of mech shows. I watched a couple. I watched Gurren Lagann. I watched Ava, if you want to still count it. I watched Aquarian, the first one. The second one didn't exist yet. Only giving it for like mech names is so it's kind of something that involves numbers. Like B0 B0AT. B0AT. That's a mech name, right? B0AT. What? Sorry, the one thing I don't like is, yes, you can do this, but at the same time, I want it to always be straight. Yeah, B0AT. Right, and we're gonna do this. What are we gonna... What are we gonna unlock for an ongoing bonus? Do we gain popularity? Do we gain... We don't want to gain money yet because we actually want to make sure we don't have a whole lot of money, to be honest. We are going to do this one because I feel like it's going to happen more often than not. And we're going to take the combat card option. No. Yeah, we're going to take the combat card option, just in case. I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried about Ursviet over there. They're a little close. It can river walk. It actually can't cross lakes, though. It's not a very good boat. It can't cross lakes. Okay, we're gonna accept that. Just the people dropping there. The people dropping there. Okay. And the thing that you see them dropping... What? So there's like a windmill, a black windmill. It honestly looks exactly the kind of piece that came from viticulture. Not exactly, but how many times can you make a windmill out of wood, essentially? And make it look different enough and still be recognizably a windmill. But yeah, just, yep. That's one of the things that you create from wood, from building. Okay. I'm from the Ava School of Naming Your Robots. Ava School of Naming Your Robots. Ava 00 through what? 04? 04? No, 03. Actually, I guess there was up to 6. And then there was Mark 9. And then they jumped to like 13. And then there was a production series. Okay. I guess the fact that we only actually have to worry about one of these is kind of neat. Like, I don't have to worry about this if I just complete the second one. First thing, it was more of a case of, wait, that was my special ability, right? Shit, no. My special ability is the Riverwalk. My special ability is the Riverwalk. Okay. We can't move again, but we can... We can produce. We can produce. I could finish producing workers. That might be the best option. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. We're gonna produce more workers and produce more food, and then with that, we are going to be able to get another upgrade. And I'm only gonna have one mech. So as long as they don't come in. They wouldn't want to do that. They wouldn't want to come in and wreck my shit, right? They don't have to fight over this. They can just leave me alone. They can just leave me alone. And we don't have any oil. We don't have any oil. This is actually really, really worrisome. Hold on. 9 power and 6 guards. They're gonna fuck me over. They're gonna fuck me over. So, military, the power here is if you go into battle against someone, that's your base level power in attacking, and it's just sort of a 3 versus 9 with that many cards. I can't river walk with them. Fuck. 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 They can't river walk. They're limited. Okay, so they're gonna go over here. But these guys can river walk. These guys can river walk. So they're down there. I'm actually gonna move him over here. We're gonna click to reveal. Oh, right, so these are the encounter cards. So they're kind of special events that happen in the game. There's a bunch of them, and they affect what happens. Or like I say affect what happens. They give you special benefits. And there's usually like a good option, a bad option, and like a whatever option. Kind of funny. So in this case, oh, you can choose 2 options if playing as Polania. Neat. So we can whistle while we wait for the geese to cross the road, so we gain money and popularity. We can pay the girl for her pet geese, or as you call them, dinner. You pay $2 to gain 4 food, or you can feed the geese to your animal and claim the farm as your own. You pay 2 popularity and build a structure. So you can see how they weave together the options that you get in terms of like the mechanical benefit plus the thematic wording around it. So being good or evil in this game doesn't necessarily net you anything. Like there's no counter for that. But at the same time, like, do you really want to be the person who chooses that last option? Do you want to be that person? I don't want to be that person. But at the same time, I don't really want to gain money, to be honest. I don't want to gain money. I say that at the same time, like... At the same time... I guess I can use that money to turn into other things. That's an integral part of economics, right? Having money to exchange for goods and services. I just have to do more of that. Right, I was going to, in fact, actually do that. We're going to do that. We're going to gain popularity. Right, so another thing you can count up here, stars. Once we hit... Actually, I should check the cheat sheet. We're gonna check the score preview real quick. I don't want to do math to figure it out myself. So we're in second, actually. Rusviet's really far behind, but I feel like it's just a matter of time before they figure it out, essentially. Before they start putting their, I'm guessing, militaristic engine into motion. That's all that we're really waiting on here. We got benefits. We got benefits. It's also really neat because it shows you how that person earned that star. Actually, hold on, wait. They built 6 upgrades? Wow, actually, okay. They built 6 upgrades. Hold on, real quick. Huh. Just more so like, wait, they have 11 power? And 4 battle cards. Okay, we're kind of even, but we're not as good as Risk yet. We're not as good as Risk yet. But we don't have to worry about the people. We don't have to worry about the Scottish or whatever these people are, the Saxonies, as much. Sorry, just a real quick thing of like, oh we want to. I need to take care of that. I need to take care of that. I need to get to the factory. I need to get to the factory. Okay. We can produce. We can produce. Producing is a better option. And we don't have any oil. We don't have any oil. If I just move back, actually, I'm gonna have to move these guys off. What I should do is, it's not gonna be a 2-turn process. It's gonna be a 2-turn process. Ooh. Ah! So they started. Okay. So we're entering battle. It's 1 against 1. They have 9. I have 4. They have 7 attack cards, but they only can play 1. So it's more of a case of how much power do I want to use? This kind of sucks because my highest power is only going to match their, I want to say, lowest power. That really is kind of sucky. I don't know if I want to lose that card. I believe, however, if I just give it up and say 0 and go home. Yeah, okay, so it does have a little... The tooltips are really handy here. Select up to 7 power and up to 1 combat card per involved character or mech. The player with the highest total power wins. Ties go to the attacker. The loser must retreat all units and leave any resources behind. The power and combat cards used by both players are deducted from their stats. So yeah, it's more of a case of I would lose all my power if I devote it all here. I don't necessarily know if I want to do that. I might just want to give it up because there's nothing on that square. It's just a farm. And I can come back later. I'll come back later. They would have won because ties go to the attacker. But at the same time, they lost some power and they used one of their cards. So, tactical retreat. Thank you, Roxas Impersonator, for the follow. It's a tactical retreat. It's not a coward move. Not a coward move. Now I just have to worry about this because I want that. Okay. And this is why, even though I was able to place my mech on the mainlands, it's still a good idea to have water walk on it because if things like this do happen, I get sent back home, I can still cross back over. I had a plan for this and it was going to be building another mech. No, actually it wasn't going to be building another mech. I was going to do something else, but I'm going to do this one. We're going to walk back. It's kind of a shit. Do I walk back? Yeah, I'm gonna walk back. We're gonna move 2 units. Actually, one thing I can do is going to be, I'm gonna take all the grain. I'm gonna move back here because they can't actually get to me over here. So what's up, Roxas? Okay, that was that part, and now we're going to do the last part. Pay 2. Get this. Get the very last one. And that earns us our 2nd star. But we're tied with someone else. We're tied with Rusfiat because they earned a star for winning a battle. But they can only earn up to 2. They can only earn up to 2 stars in that manner. It sucks being close to Rusfiat. I wonder what kind of map they started with. If they started with a more militaristic one, if that's one of the reasons why they're doing this. It kind of sucks though, because I was going for the harvest advantage, and now I'm gonna have to fight for that. Because the other options are... Actually, there are no other options. I have to fight for that. I have to run for that one, and I have to take that one back, because the only other option is over here, actually. I could do that. Okay. But yeah, no, this would have been way easier for me to do. That would have been way easier for me to acquire. Okay. At least I don't have to worry about the food so much anymore. I don't really know if there's anything else for me to do in that regard. So... I could bolster power for gold. I don't have any... Oh, I was gonna say I don't have any wood. I have 1 wood. I have a single wood. Singular wood. I kind of forgot what wood does. So we're actually kind of... Okay, it's mine. Because I could there's no point to that. I don't need more food. I don't have any more people, so it's kind of a case of... I could make 3 metal, and that can get me towards another mech. That would actually immediately allow me to build a mech. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna immediately do that. There's no reason for me to keep the food, though, I suppose. Oh shit! I can't actually do it because I did it on the wrong action. That's fine. That's fine. It's still more worthwhile in the end. It's still more worthwhile in the end. Ish. Ish. Shit, they have so many mechs. Look at that. Fuck. That got them another star too, didn't it? Because they built their 4th mech, and there's only 4 available. Wait, they have 3 mechs? Okay, never mind. I guess I only have 3. I don't know... Did I just, like, miscount? I think I may have miscounted. Yeah, they have 4. What is that about? Okay, so it just didn't fully calculate until now. Okay. Let's take a look at the points. We're just still at the bottom? We're at the top, but just barely. So it's also kind of the case of, even though you earn 6 stars, doesn't mean you're going to win because of the point count not being fully tied to it. I mean, it super helps. It super helps to have all those objectives done, but doesn't necessarily mean it. Okay. So they're probably going to initiate battle once more at some point. At some point. More of a case of moving. Moving. Do I trade so I can build another mech? I could trade for oil. Or I could trade for wood. Wood at least allows me to... If I trade for oil, I'm only gonna get 2. This kind of sucks. It's always a tough spot. It's always a tough spot. Okay, we're gonna make another mech. What are we gonna get? I have actually kind of... Wait, hold on 1 second. So you can construct a monument. Gain a popularity. Mine acts as a tunnel. Windmill allows you to produce a resource as if it were a worker. An armory. Whenever you use trade, you also gain a power. So it's kind of a case of... If I do this, I could start gaining power more quickly. That might be the best option right now, since we are dealing with an imperialistic neighbor. Okay. Yep. If I pay a power, the opponent loses 2 power. Speed. I want speed. We are going to be speed. If I do this here, I'm gonna do it here though, so we can immediately like grab people up and move them. What? What? I know I said that we were dealing with an imperialistic neighbor, but this is a bit rough. Okay. Okay. What is our power? Oh shit, their power is at 11. Hold on 1 second. At least I don't have any materials on that. It's just kind of stupid. Why do they want this land? Aside from just controlling it, they already had a village that they evacuated for it. They're just fucking me over. Okay. So they have a maximum of 12 and they have 8 cards. Who knows what's in the cards? Can I... My best I can do is a 9. The best I can do is a 9. And they have 11. Shit. I can only... Yeah. I'm gonna give it up. I'm gonna give it up. There's no point. It's not even enough. I'm not chancing it. Yeah, the best I was gonna do is going to be tie, which again would only have hurt me. But, and the only thing I lose is some dignity. The only thing I lose is some dignity. Okay, dignity lost. Dignity lost. Also, they have our 4th star. They have their 4th star. But again, they have their 4th star, but they're not in the lead yet. Okay, is it... Yeah, they're still at the bottom, but I'm no longer in the top. And they're still... They kind of... I don't say it's not like... It's not cheat. It's part of the game to fight. It's more of a case of... It's not part of the... Combat is an easy way to gain stars, relatively speaking. I guess I have to do this again. Yeah, okay. Combat is a relatively easy way to gain stars. They're gonna find it harder pressed to get the rest of them, I think. We are going to do this and build. We're gonna bolster. Then we're gonna make a structure. But what structure are we gonna make? What structure are we going to make? Oh, we have to first actually get the wood. When we use trade, we get that. My popularity is really shit. My popularity is really shit. We're gonna put it here. Okay. That's the end. That's the end of that turn. That's a lot of food. I guess they did just drop people down though. Let's see. Right, so another kind of neat thing here is... so there were options for like painted pieces and unpainted pieces. So you'll probably have noticed that when I'm zooming in and out, there's like a gray haze. That's because of an option I selected. I chose that. Kind of like a winter theme. Let me check what the other options were. Yeah, map colors. I chose Moonlight. But you can also make it so it's default or black and white or vintage when you zoom out. So if it's default, it looks more like this. Like it doesn't dim the colors at all. But I like Moonlight, so I'm gonna set it back to Moonlight. I think it sells winter a bit better. It sells winter. It sells dismal. Yeah. Kind of pissed. I wanted that farm. I wanted that. That farm had my name on it. Okay. We're gonna move. And... actually, no. No, that wasn't... we're gonna move this. And we're gonna... dump all the people here onto it, and we get to move two. It's more so a case of like, where? Which two do we move? Can I not like hop over here? Can I not hop over here? Oh, no, no, no. I want all the people back in. Give me the people back in. It's just more so like it's having trouble, I think, figuring out that I want to move them here versus there. I feel like that was actually a mistake. That was a mistake. I'm gonna live with it though. I'm gonna eat this mistake. Okay. So I can only move up there. So I'm going to actually do is I'm going to take... it's all the workers, but what about... it's more like I want to move something else. I want to move something else. Frick. Okay. We don't actually need that much wood. We don't actually need that much wood. It's more of a case of, 3? Okay, we're gonna move 3 back here. So, it's just a taxi. That was just a really stupid taxi. Like, the stupidest taxi. We can recruit in coins. Do I want that? It doesn't hurt, right? So we paid 2 grain, we turned 2 grain into money. Which is actually kind of not great for the roll up your sleeves with the common man thing. But it's good for everything else. It's good for everything else. So I really should have completed that at the much earlier stage than I currently am at. Actually, right now I could really hurt Rustia where they... I'm gonna attack them. Except I can't because I just realized I moved and I'm not gonna be able to move next turn. Okay. That's my bad. I'm gonna have to wait another turn before I do that. Hold on. What's the score like? Okay. I gotta catch up. Let's see. I guess now more so like I can river walk, right? Produce oil. Produce oil, produce wood. We're gonna produce. Two. And with that, we're going to do this. That's gonna allow us to make something better. What are we gonna upgrade? We're gonna make it cheaper to make mechs. Well, actually, first we have to do something up top. Oops. We could bolster more easily, or we could move 3 at a time. 3 at a time might be better. Bolster would be nice. Or we could do 3 for that. We actually haven't really bolstered at all. We have not bolstered at all. We're gonna do this. Making it easier to move and easier to produce mechs while we still have mechs to produce. I'm trying to remember what was before IRC really quickly. So there was another way to talk to people online before RIC, right? If anyone here knows what RIC is. I want to say like BBC. That's not quite it either. Bulletin board connection, something like that. But there was something else. And just thinking about BBS. Maybe. All I can think of is they would have names with lots of dots in between to distinguish what they were. And it was kind of a... This was... I don't want to say this before my time exactly. I kind of didn't really catch all of it. It'd be like alt.news. Whatever. Something like that. For a particular thing. And then there was something about like Eternal September, right? When people started getting connected to the internet one particular September, it was what, like September 96 or something like that? Maybe even earlier. Because there was like internet etiquette at that time, and it was completely changed by the fact that all of a sudden everyone, usually I guess September would be the time when people who were going to college or whatever and had more common internet access, they would get introduced to these communities, and then there'd be a case of having to learn the etiquette. And then one particular September is when I guess the internet became very, very, very popular. So it just never stopped, that whole issue of people having to learn. Yeah, it's not just a big wave of people connecting, but like a never-ending wave. So before it would be every September when people went off to school. But after one particular year, it just never ended because people got connected to the internet constantly. And thinking about that, it's kind of like, was that when AOL discs became common? Is that when AOL discs became common? I'm not certain. I do remember them being all over the place, though. People doing art installations with them or just using them as, like, frisbees. There was something else about it, though. Big wave of people coming on the internet. It was on floppy? I don't particularly remember that, but I do remember dealing with floppy disks. I still actually probably do have access to some things that are on floppy disks. New friend summer? Yeah, that's another way of putting it too. There's actually, I do remember learning about a particular site that I used for research, and they could not figure out why their traffic pattern was very peculiar, extremely peculiar. Like, dead in the summer, and then like certain months of the year, it would be very popular. And then they figure it out, oh, a bunch of students are using it, and that's why. It's waves of when projects are due. You were 5 or 6 and found the floppy disk? I actually didn't know that they ever came on floppy disk, but I guess it shouldn't really be very surprising to me that it did. For some reason, I felt like it started on disk. Not saying you're wrong, just my own memory. Youngins? And maybe it was just because I never actually had to rely on AOL. I never had to rely on it. My family never bought into that, thankfully, I want to say. I was actually kind of jealous, though, at one point, because my friend did have AOL, so she had the fancy AOL.com username and access to AOL chats and a bunch of stuff associated with that. But later on, I learned how free it really was to not be tied to AOL. To not be tied to AOL. Do you remember Anna Pike? That's something that I like to use the barometer. It was sort of a buried memory for a very long time. Like, holy shit, web rings, those were a thing. Those were a thing. Those were a thing. And what was your first search engine? If you want to so call it a search engine, because kind of the way what I used was not a search engine, because I don't want to say it didn't exist exactly. It's just it was a directory. It was a directory. It wasn't scraped quite as much, or at least not by people who posted about it, I suppose. Okay. You won't even remember what your first search engine was? Yahoo directories was the thing, as was Ask Jeeves, honestly. Ask Jeeves. I remember when Google was brand new and shiny, and I was actually, I believe, taught by it by my brother. And using Netscape Navigator, and being so impressed with people's websites when they had certain things on it. I forgot what my plan was. I wanted to move. I had unfettered internet access. I was extremely lucky or unlucky, depending on how you looked at it. I had access to Yahoo chats. That was a horrific idea. I can move there. Or I could be a real bitch. I say that, and yet it's kind of a case of like, is it really being that bad? If I'm just playing the game as it's meant to be played, and it's kind of a... So we have to cross over here. That's the one thing I don't really like here. Like, why can't I cross directly through here? What is the problem? Is there a certain thing that I'm missing in terms of design that indicates that I can't cross this way, but I can cross this way? I understand why I can do this, because of the tunnel. It's simply a case of like, so why can't I move back here? If I move over here, we're gonna move here. And otherwise, I'm at 7, they're at 4, they have 13, but I can make it work if I want to retake my field. I can make it work. I could make it work. I actually get to move 3, and I get to move them twice, except, it's gonna take forever to get over there. It's gonna take forever to get over there. This game can only move an L. It's not, I actually don't know what the rules are for moving. I don't know what the rules are for moving. Fuck. At least in this case, it's sort of a, well, if I can only move this way, that's right, they can't move into the spot, so I'm fine. And for the last one, we're gonna move over here. Or I move over here. We're gonna move over here. Fuck you, you're not taking my last farm. I don't even need the farm anymore. Do you remember ICQ? ICQ is also a horrific mistake on my part. One more thing. Purely DOS. I actually, even to this day, it's kind of like, is it DOS? 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 How do people pronounce it? I did previously describe a game that I played that was a DOS game. The Lion King actually did come out that way, as well as on SNES. So I didn't play the SNES version. I only played the computer version of the game when it came out. But yeah, ICQ and AOL Instant Messenger were kind of not conflicting. You could have both of them. They were just different instant messengers. ICQ was numbers based, so everyone had a unique number, which was kind of cool, but at the same time, like, who's gonna fucking remember a number? Who's gonna fucking remember a number? AOL Instant Messenger, though, with names, but only one person could have that name. Competing's a good word too. Lion King on PC wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I describe my thought process about finding out about this and realizing, going through, like, not stages of grief, but like stages of realization, like, oh wait, how the fuck did Lion King come out on a computer back then? Did my brother have an emulator of some sort? He didn't even buy me my gift that year. He just, like, pirated it somehow. And then a realization of, oh no, it actually was released officially. And then another realization later of, like, you know what, he probably actually did fucking pirate it. He probably did pirate a floppy back then for it. Knowing him. I never knew anyone who used, actually maybe, I don't know. I did use Yahoo Chats, but I don't think I used Yahoo Messenger. If such a thing existed. And I don't think I used MSN. I think my family might still have the Sim Earth and Sim Ant stuff on floppy. Okay, I had a plot. There's no point in me enlisting the recruit. Actually, I don't think I even can. I can't. I can't. I'm stuck with that. What? No. What the frick? No. Look at these fuckers. How did they travel that far? What are they doing? They're just, like, flying. That was more than 2 spots. It was more than 2 spots. I need to read the full rule book next time. I have to do reading. They didn't explain that in the tutorial for the game. I feel like there's a bit of a disconnect here. You can't, like, fully grok what's going on unless you read the actual rule book, the physical rule book. God damn. 11 versus 5. So the best I can do is 10. The best I can do is 10. Grok? Yeah, I know Grok. Really? Huh. I feel like it's not that uncommon of a phrase in some circles. Chess rules aren't that painful necessarily. I feel like a lot of board games are more complicated than chess, with all the little different bits having different things. But it's a lot more straightforward in some ways too, because you don't need to remember, like, asterisks. I mean, like, chess can be condensed down into, like, what, one book? Not one book, I say, but, like, what, one page? You can condense down the rules of chess into, like, one page, right? Maybe 2? Like, one sheet? But this game is, let me count. Let's strip out, like, let's strip out 10 pages of this book for things that are not necessary. Maybe 20? Do you want me to cut out like a quarter of the rules of this book because you don't think they're necessary? Let me do a little bit of math real quick. Let's say a quarter of these pages are not needed, strictly speaking, for how to play the game. This rule book is still 100 pages long. This rulebook is still 100 pages long. I think it's a bit more complicated than chess. Yeah, you can store the rules of chess on board itself. It's 135 pages of rules, but at the same time, like, okay, so there's credits, there's indexes, there's the pieces of the board to count for, like, those pages. So being not generous, but just saying a quarter of them are probably not strictly necessary. But there's still a huge amount of rules. Tutorial. I mean, I did play through the tutorial on stream. I don't remember how long it took. I probably could have done it in like 15 minutes, honestly. It's pretty short, but again, the tutorial did not cover everything here. I've never played Hearthstone. I still haven't played Hearthstone. But for Grok, yeah. I guess it's kind of a... I mean, it's an internet phrase-ish, right? And like for tech stuff, too? Or tabletop stuff? There's a lot of different places I could have heard it first, honestly. I'm not 100% certain which one it may have been. So the question is, do I go all out and hope? Or do I roll over? Shit, actually, which piece are we fighting over? That's more important, actually. We're fighting over this. We're fighting over this. They tunneled! That's what they did. Holy shit, they tunneled. Fuck. They tunneled. Okay. Fuck them. We're gonna die like men against these Saxony scum. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna like, oh, I need to choose a fucking card. Actually, hold on. No, we're fucked, actually. There's two of them and one of me. We're fucked. I'm putting this card back. We're rolling over. It's kind of... If it's one-on-one, it's fine. But when it comes... Yeah, there's no way we would have done... We would have won that. Since it was 2-on-1. No good. Yep, they want... Oh, shit. Russia's at 5. I'm sorry, Russia's at 5. Fuck. Russia's at 5. Okay. This is a learning game. This is a learning game still. This is the third time I played the game, I think. Maybe fourth. And I mean, it's been a huge gap. And the last one... yeah. I really have to read the entire rules. Okay. Seems to be going well. Yeah, I'm in last, but it's not by a whole lot. It's just... I have made a couple miscalculations where I've decided to eat the error I've decided to eat my error, and it's kind of a maybe I should have actually just like... I have the undo button. But it's only for last previous action. But I'm like halfway through my action when I realize like, oh shit, this isn't the greatest option. But I'm gonna go through with it anyway because I started the action. But I could just hit undo. I could just hit undo. Feels like cheating a little bit. Prepares me for the bots. Oh, for Hearthstone. Okay. Fuck. God damn it. God damn it. I feel like if I take the move action, yeah, I'm only gonna be able to move over here for one. Move over there. Actually, hold on. more of a case of I don't think I would have enough of a chance to beat them unless I did some stuff that's going to be a little strange. Not strange, but annoying. Annoying is not quite the right phrase either. I could build another mech. I could build another mech! That would be my third mech. It's not a great number. And it's not like I can move again. So we're gonna do this. And we're actually going to... Do I need more resources? Popularity wouldn't hurt. Popularity sure wouldn't hurt. The only other thing I could do would be producing 2 metal or 2 wood, and then it's kind of a case of, do I want to do that? Do I want to do that? Also, my poor bear guy. My poor bear guy. There's nothing I can do for that. There's nothing I can do for that. He's on his own. Bear. I say bear. He's not a bear guy, because bear is a different race. Bear is a different, like, group entirely. It's the yak guy. The boar. Okay. Popularity? We're gonna go for popularity as opposed to stuff. Although if we go for stuff... Sorry, just thinking like, oh wait, what was I doing over here? I constructed the armory. When I use the trade action, I gain a power. Okay. That's not the worst. It's not the worst. If I do this... Gain more metal. It's like halfway there. But how many people are actually on this one spot? It's actually quite a bit. I could do oil, actually. No, I'm not gonna do it. Fuck. Well, this is one of those things. Where I said, like, it's one of those things where, like, I fucked up. I clicked the wrong way. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, we're gonna do artillery. Where's it gonna drop? Where's it gonna drop? We're gonna drop here. We're gonna drop there. They took the encounter. Which is just sort of like, why didn't I get the trigger for the encounter? I don't understand why I didn't get the trigger for the encounter. Did I need a mech to be on that spot in order to trigger the encounter? That may have actually been it, now that I think about it. May have been I needed a mech to trigger it. Or a character, something not a worker. Chicharrones? I don't know what chicharrones are, honestly. Is that like crackling? Is that what it's called? Like fried pork skins? I'm not 100% certain. It's just this one particular hero character. So each faction is designed physically entirely differently. So blue is mine, and they're like Nordic themed with their little B080s. Rusviet has their like little Scythe boys, and the tiger lady. And the Nords have, let me grab Nords. Shit. The Nord actually has the wolf. The Nord actually has the wolf. And they've got like little black turrety guys. Little, not quite spiders. They're not quite spiders. Okay, this is up. Cracklins? Okay. So it is the same thing. I don't know if I've ever had that. I don't know if I've ever had that. Like, maybe I have and I just don't remember. Kopesh? I have a vague idea of what a Kopesh is. I feel like I've seen it in a book of weapons. Except it was kind of a, like, it's a cool exotic weapon, but at the same time, like, a scythe where it's not actually super useful as a weapon. But man, it does look cool. It does look cool. Is this really the way it went? It is. Okay. I'm never gonna fucking get that farm back. I'm never gonna get that fucking farm back. You know what? We're gonna move. 1. We're here. We can move 2. And now it's just more of a case of do I move back or not. I don't think I'm gonna move back. I still have one more person I can move though. I don't necessarily know if I want to keep these here. I might just want to move them back. So I'll move him back here so I get a bit more oil in the future. Choose a factory card. Okay. So this is the first time that we've hit the factory this game. So we get to choose basically an entire extra column of actions that we can take. We can only take 1 of these ever in this game. And the bottom action available is always going to be a factory move, which is move up to 2 times within the same move action. But the tops are all a little different. So basically in this case, it is pay 2 gold, get... Actually, wait. It's kind of a case of what the fuck? Mech? Do you literally get another... You pay 2 coins, you gain a mech and a power. Just kind of a... Wait, does that mean that... What happens if you're capped? What if you have 4? I'm actually going to look that up really quickly. Like, can you overcap on mechs? Because that'd be really fucking awesome. But I kind of doubt it. I kind of really doubt it. That's way too fucking cheap for that. And I'm like so close to that anyway. So pay a combat card to gain 3 money. Pay a combat card to gain a person and 2 coins. But we already have people. And this is pay 2 coins to get... I don't remember what that symbol is. Recruit? Get a recruit and a power point. Like, great, okay. I want to say, I feel like this is kind of worthless actually. Damn, this is kind of worthless. I can actually, I can do this a little bit, but like, I already have 3 mechs out. The only thing this is gonna do is make it a little cheaper to get the 4th, kind of. This is the only one that has a consistent output. This is the only one that has consistent output. Yeah, I've lagged behind quite a bit. Okay. And there was still the case of I get to finish my move? No. No move to finish. It's simply a case of do I want to enlist a recruit? Hello, Sasha. Thank you for the raid. Let me shout you out. Hopefully this works this time. Okay, it didn't do the proper shout out the second time. But for those who don't know me, hello, I am the Evening Primrose. I am a garden elf that comes out at night to play games. And Friday is currently board game night. Friday. Wrong name? Ah! I spelled just Sasha wrong. I spelled it wrong. I have tried to include it in the shout out commands. I have to adjust it. I have to wait 2 minutes before doing another one. That's on me. That's on me. I'll have to live with that. Oh wait, combat. So tonight I am playing Scythe, which is a game by Stonemaier. The rules are available online. I'm playing against 2 medium bots. It's my second time playing recently. And It's a learning experience. It's a learning experience. The bots have done a few bots. I say the bots. The AIs have been doing some things where it's just kind of like, how the hell? What the hell? How are they allowed to do this? Why am I not allowed to do that? I feel like after this I'm gonna have to sit down and actually read the rulebook all the way through. The tutorial does not fully prepare you for what you go through. The rulebook is 135 pages of fun. Actually, I would say about a quarter of that is just random things like, not random, indexes, credits, and like piece descriptions-ish. You crush your time. Your time? What were you playing? I need to scroll down. I need to scroll up. What are you playing? 2 minutes cast? Can I spell it? Oh, you were doing a randomizer. 7 seconds off. Okay. 5 hours? That explains a bit, because you normally only stream for like 3 to 4 hours, right? I spelled it correct that time. I spelled it correct that time. And that's like a 2 hour, well, a little less than 2 hours. That's a pretty good clipping. It's a pretty good clipping. I've not actually played any randomizers myself. I know some other people who have. Thank you for the follow, Cyberpath. Cyberpath. Sorry for mangling that in the first try. Yeah. But yeah, today I'm playing Scythe. And we are playing the Nords against the Rustiets and Saxony. Last time I played this, I played Rustiets, but I haven't actually played against, I think, Saxony yet. And I think we're getting into another combat. I'm getting absolutely fucking crushed in combat. I thought that I'd be able to do a more peaceful route because it's a 3-player game right now. And the board is big enough that 3-player doesn't mean you have to be in combat as much, or at all, if you don't want to. But the medium bots are a bit more heavy-handed on it. And also I started right cozy up next to Rusviet, which is historically not a good place to be if you're trying to be a small, peaceful country, I suppose. Okay. But right now we're actually getting attacked by, I believe, Saxony. So, artillery. Before combat, if you pay 1 power, opponent loses 2 power. Use this ability. This is actually a fairly decently designed game, mostly. Especially for being able to calculate points, because otherwise it can be a little bit overwhelming to try and calculate points. I want to say... I don't want. Who are we up against? I wish I could move this, because that would actually also help me determine what I'm doing. Fuck yeah, we're doing that. Okay. Ah! Oh shit, okay. Okay! They're attacking me on the factory right now, so they're 1 character against 2 mechs. 1 against 2 is not great here. I did pay 1 point to remove 2 points from them, so it's base power. I have base of 5 against their base of 8. Actually, I guess it's 7. Like a max of 7, so it's 7 against 5. Great, just cutting 1 off. And then we also have cards that we are allowed to play 1 per character. 1 per meeple we have in battle. So because they have 2 in battle with their 2 mechs versus my 1, they can play 2 cards, I can play 1 card. I have a 5, but they also have 9 cards. So the chances are not very good here, honestly. So the best I can put out is a 10. The best they can put out is... what? 17, I guess. They can put out 7. And then technically plus 10. Technically. So it's kind of a case of almost every time I've been doing this, I've been rolling over and letting myself get sent back, because when you use it in battle, you lose it. So oftentimes it is a okay tactic to roll over, especially if you don't think you have a chance, and hope that your opponent thinks that you're bluffing. So we're actually going to just do nothing because we can't lose power if we don't spend it. The same with cards. So they're going to lose, they lose a 5 card or they lose a 4 card. And they only submitted, Jesus Christ. I would have still lost, honestly, because ties go to the attacking player. Best output was a 10. So they put out that. Yeah, no, I'm not doing all in. I'm not doing all in. And they earned a star that way. Fuck. They earned a star that way. The game is going to end when someone hits 6 stars. They cannot earn any more stars here from combat. They have to earn it a different way. And we have a score preview, and I'm at the bottom by half. Because I was not expecting to be such a combat-heavy game. I was not expecting to be in such a combat-heavy game. Right, I should also say I put on the glasses because it was... Sometimes in this game it's a little hard to read, you know? It's a little hard to read. There are lots of fiddly bits. As evidenced by me missing rules. As evidenced by me missing rules. Like, why can't you cross over the river this way, but you can cross this way? Why? Why? No explanation given. Unless it's a case of, like, you can't cross over unless it's so many squares apart from the edge of the border. Something like that. Which, again... I gotta read the rules. Actually, give me a second. I'm gonna have a glass of water. Oh, sorry, I missed this earlier. Thank you for the water, Boniface. I'm gonna take that water now. Big IQ plays from the person who's down by half. Down by half. But this is a learning experience. I'll be a better player next time I play this. I will be a better player. Damn though. Damn though. If I do this, I'll have enough for that. But at the same time... Do we just want to go in on oil to get an upgrade? And the answer might be yes. Because I'm clearly not winning on the front of mechs. Clearly not winning on the front of mechs. I don't know if I want to produce, though. I mean, I do want to produce, but at the same time... I also don't have any wood. I don't have any wood. Okay, we're gonna do this. And with this, we're going to upgrade. Pay 3. We're gonna do that. And it's kind of a case of... We'll do that. And we'll make it cheaper to deploy our last mech, or we can make it cheaper to build, or we can make it cheaper to upgrade. Just thinking, like right now what we just did was produce. So our next action is probably going to be this. Last time we played Rusviet, and every faction has a different special ability. Ours was the ability to water walk right off the bat with our workers only, which is normally something that you have to build next for, and choose the water walk ability. Sorry, river walk. It's Riverwalk. There are rivers and there are lakes, and they're a little different in how they function. Rispiat, however, they're able to ignore a basic rule set, where normally if you take a column action set, one turn, or one round rather, you cannot do it your next round. But Rispiat can just fucking slam the button and keep doing the same thing over and over if they so choose. And I did actually read out what Saxony's was, but I don't remember what it was. Let me check real quick. What was Saxony's ability? Because it was kind of a question of like, holy shit, they built a mech already. How did they do that? How did they build a mech on like the very first or second turn? That should be like impossible. And there's two potential ways. It was kind of a question of, is it a faction thing or is it a player mat thing? Because there's two different things that allow you to have special special actions or special functions. Special abilities. Better way of putting it. And it was not their faction ability. As I said, the rulebook is 135 pages, so it takes me a little bit sometimes to find the right spot, especially because the PDF does not have... They have, like, a thing... Oh, they do actually have a table of contents, but they don't have it as a digital table of contents, if that makes sense. I don't think it's linked. Yeah. If they had just linked it, this would be great. Maybe I'll do that to my own copy. I'll make it, like, proper links. We'll do some PDF editing. Because it's 34, page 34. So yeah, Saxony. Fuck. I forgot something. Saxony has the ability... There is no limit to the number of stars you can place from completing objectives or winning combat. That is their special ability. Fuck. So they're going to want to start... They're going to want to start shit with us. With everyone. Because there's no limit to the number of stars they can get from battle. And that's another point that they can get. How many combats have they won? Fuck, they've won 3. They don't have a cap. They don't have a cap. We're fucked. This is a lost game, I think. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't hurt to keep trying. It's just that there's no way we can close this gap in this short time period. The best thing we could probably do is diversify a little bit in terms of location to earn a little bit more territory, because that does help count for that helps quite a bit. Let me check the scoring chart real quick. So yeah, stars count. I don't have a whole lot of stars. Hexes are territories. This is resources, I believe. I don't remember what this is. And then we just have sheer coin, sheer fortune. And that totals up to our score. So yeah. The fact that I'm so behind on stars is really fucking hurtful. And that part of that is because I've been rolling over in combat because I'm not combat prepared. But at the same time, I can't go up against red for combat. I can't go up against red for combat. And there's no way I can complete my objectives, I feel like. One of them is long since passed. There's no way for me to do this. And harvest, I'd have to earn that back, which actually wouldn't be so difficult, I feel. And then I have to move over there, which is a little bit more difficult because that would be a 1, 2. Move over here. And it's very dicey. Actually, that's red territory. It's not so bad. I could do that. It's easier than moving over here. Okay, we have a slight plan. And we get to move 3 units, actually. Hold on. 2. If I move them here, it's kind of worthless. It's kind of worthless. Can I just move him over here? That's 1. 2. That's the move. And we're gonna do this next. And let's see how our points stacked up, because we control more territory. It's not very good still, but it does exist. So next is actually probably going to be trade. They're fighting, okay. Oh, this is gonna be the end game because they're gonna earn their last. Yeah, we're gonna do this, yes. Although we only have 2 power, so we're really fucked. The only thing we can do is this. We get up to 7 power. They're gonna outdo us. We're gonna lose. It's kind of a case of, actually, combat cards don't do anything terrible. I think power, though, is going to hurt me. Like, losing power. I'm gonna do a real quick check on the score calculations because this is one annoying thing. I can't check right now whether or not power counts towards the score. I don't think it actually does, though. If it doesn't, then there's no reason for me to not throw it away, even though there's very little chance they're gonna let me through. There's no reason for them to. They want to end the game. Score calculation, score calculation. 45. Well, page 45. Oh, part of the reason why this is so large is because it's got automa rules in it. So like game end and scoring for the regular game is at page 45, but then you start adding in expansions and stuff, then it starts floating. So I guess when you compare it to like chess, we were comparing the rule set to chess earlier in terms of length, and it's kind of okay, it's not as bad as I initially labeled it, where it's like, yeah, it's 135 pages, when a lot of that is expansion and other materials. And also I cut out 35 pages of that for fairness, for other things. Okay. Scoring. Coins in hands, every star token place, every territory controlled, every 2 resources controlled, structure bonus tile. Yeah, so power does not directly count into it, so I might as well try and max it out, even though it's gonna be really sad. This is the one time I'm trying, and there's no way for me to win. They've earned their last star, game over. It's a loss. It's a loss. I suppose that's a benefit. Actually, I haven't received that before. Yeah, that was sad. That was sad. It's a lesson learned, though. So, next time, lesson learned. Be more combat prepared, even in a 3-player game. Normally in a game like this, when it's 3 players, I don't think it has to be so combat focused, but because one of them is Saxony, where they get unlimited stars for combat, essentially, I should have expected it. Even though they were far away, I should have expected it to eventually happen. Okay, so not quite half as bad, but still not great. Still quite the gap. Man, I'm even lowest for popularity. Even the lowest for popularity. Okay, so for those who don't know, actually, I'll talk a little bit about Scythe next. Scythe is a game that was put out, or it's based on a concept world by a Polish artist, I believe. Let me talk. He's got his art station up. He's got a lot of really cool promo images, actually. I say promo images. They're not really promo images. They're just pieces of art that he does. And it's not just this board game that is out, there's also a second board game, a sequel board game that is coming out in July. They just closed pre-orders literally 2 days ago, and they started pre-orders in February. But you can still get it later, like in July. You can get it when it comes out in July. It's not like it's a limited edition thing. It's a Stonemaier game. They do pretty good things, like this particular game. Let me open Canary real quick so I can pop up the art station. They also apparently made an actual game, Iron Harvest, like a video game, a proper video game based in the same world. I haven't played it. Ooh, let me pop up the Canary. Is it gonna open up the right thing? Is it gonna open up the right thing? Excellent, it is. Okay. So this is the example that I have up for him. You've heard of Iron Harvest? Iron Harvest is also a really good phrase to describe like the entire, I guess it's also diesel punk. It's diesel punk. It's also like farm mech, sort of, if that makes sense. It's farm mech. So like this is one of the pieces that he has, and he has this whole art process behind it too, which is really neat. Like being able to see how he develops and how he went with the bear. And the girl too. And I guess he uses his wife. Yeah, his wife is his model. There's another really cool piece that I thought like really encapsulated the entire feeling of it. Where was it? You can see actually the characters that we were playing with ish here. So here's the Nord. Like one of the pieces that he's made for the Nord. Man, where was it? Maybe it's too far down. Maybe I'm thinking about it in the wrong feeling, honestly. There was one particular piece that had a guy in a giant mech suit and he's lighting up a cigarette. I know what the name of the piece was because it was, here it is. It's the last cigarette. And I just feel that this one piece, if I can get like a zoom in. Nope. It's like the opposite of a zoom in. Let me, oh, okay. Like full screen it. Like look at this guy. Look at this guy. If that's not a fucking mood. It's not a mood. It's kind of, God, just look at the proportions of it too. Like tiny little stubby, look at his body too. Like how the fuck does this all work? It doesn't have to work actually, but at the same time, I feel like that just kind of adds to it. It's like ultramarine style, isn't it, for the body, for the mech, for this particular piece. With like giant, except instead of giant shoulder pauldrons, it's just inset heavily. It's just inset very heavily. Yeah. I'm pretty certain it's based on this. Let me check. Like, not this one specific piece, but just, I'm pretty certain it's his work. What's this blog about? Yeah, he's the creator of the 1920 plus world. And he's a professional concept artist. And I guess he's been good enough at what he does to pretty much just focus on developing this entire thing, I suppose. Because again, like, there's... Actually, I wonder if I look up... Let's look up the world real quick. Like, how bad can it be? I mean, like, more in the case of... Fucking NFTs. Let's not look at that part. Yeah, so I guess it's Scythe and Iron Harvest. I'm assuming that's enough. That's enough. Plus everything else. But just like, he's known as Mr. Werewolf, and it's kind of, huh. Huh. I guess that's the kind of thing he likes to draw if it's not, if it's not this 1920 plus world. If it's not this 1920 plus world. Chort and babushka. Chort, a relic of ancient times. Although very rare even these days, you can still meet some of them in less populated and wild places of Eastern Europe. Often near to the places of pagan cults and temples. They're big and very strong, eat cows and sheep, try to avoid people. Also, for unknown reasons, they are really afraid of cats. Oh, I just realized what he's doing, isn't it? He's actually, like, really freaked out by the cat. It was just sort of, oh, is he freaked out by the babushka? Is that it? And no, he's, like, freaked out by the cat. What exactly is a chort? Give me a second. What is it? Is it... How are chorts normally defined? I've never heard of a chort before. Oh, chorts are in Witcher. Of course, of course. Just, I have played through Witcher on stream and just thinking about all of that, and it was someone's description of kind of like, wow, it's really dismal, huh? And it's kind of a, isn't that very Polish though? Like a very ingrained feeling of, and then it gets worse. So it's kind of a little bit here too, that sort of dismal feeling. I don't necessarily know if the 1920 plus world has that pervasive and then it got worse thing. I think it's supposed to be a bit more uplifting, honestly. Like it's grim, but the future doesn't have to be dark, if that makes sense. I'll dig it. Thank you for the stretch. I'm gonna take care of that, actually. And the water. I drank through all my tea. I have a half a glass of water. Polish mythology? Yeah, that is fair. There's a lot of other mythologies that I've seen pop up a little bit in some things, especially in dungeon world descriptions of monsters. They'll pop out with something and it's just kind of a, what the frick is that? And then it turns out it's mythology, it's like monster creatures, but not from the ones I'm familiar with, pretty much. I think it was a Filipino vampire, essentially, but not like a humanoid vampire. That was really kind of a neat finding, or like a cross between a vampire and a chupacabra, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna stretch. Actually, do I have any cracks? I just realized, hold on, I'm gonna check something really quick on my microphone. Okay. I thought I have... So Sunday I do ASMR, and oftentimes I have to remember to check after ASMR that I actually change my mic settings back and don't leave it on that setting, and I just wanted to make sure I wasn't accidentally blowing out eardrums that way. Okay. And I only remembered when I was doing the crack, because it's kind of a, oh right, I remember getting a really good crack when I was doing this, and then realizing, shit, I wasn't just doing that in the wrong, yeah. Making sure. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, I think that's good. Thank you, Tigger. It's actually the first one of the night. A VTuber, that kind of vampire? Like a chupacabra thing? What was it called? If I check my list really quick. I'll be able to find it. Because I feel like if I look up okay, actually, well, Filipino vampire. Aswang. It was an Aswang. Aswang? Something like that. I don't... It's A-S-W-A-N-G. It's a shape-shifting evil creature in Filipino folklore, such as vampires, ghouls, witches, blah, blah, blah. So there is a proper well, I say proper vampire. a beautiful woman blood-sucking vampire. There is a viscera sucker, a were-dog, a witch, and a ghoul that they describe. They don't really, like, the English is actually quite limited, and that might be part of the problem, honestly. And I wouldn't know how to pronounce it in another language, like what they describe them as. So there is the chort, though. So chorts are often depicted identically to Christian devils with horns, hooves, and a skinny tail. Sometimes in Slavic mythology, they are identified as the son, a son of the god Chernobog and the goddess Mara. I only have 2 entry points for knowing anything about Chernobog, and that is Fantasia and reading American Gods. I did watch part of it, but I didn't finish after it went really, really off the rails. Holy shit, it went off the rails. I couldn't watch anymore after that. Although I don't think it's getting finished, right? American Gods, it's a TV series, a streaming series. I don't think it's getting finished. It could have been a good, like, shorter series if they had just not done other things. The book was... You listened to it? Was it... It's also a question of, like, was it... Oh, it's probably one of those ones that was actually read by Neil Gaiman, right? Because I know he likes... I say likes doing it, but he does that more often now, I think. Like, initially he didn't. But he started, and he learned how to read. He learned how to read. It feels weird to say that, but I do remember reading his blog post about... I think it was a blog post back in the day? Before Twitter, even, perhaps? Talking about working on one of his first audiobooks and having to learn how to read for audiobooks. And being very, very cautious about the sounds that your mouth makes, and I guess pronunciation of things? Listening to audiobooks is kind of fun, but you do lose a bit of something about, I suppose, imagination behind things. I'm pretty certain that he did not start, but he his career reading his own audiobooks, but he did end up taking over that spot. It's probably one of those cases where it's... Instead of spreading out the money more, for a product, like having to pay for a voice actor, doing it yourself if you're not otherwise occupied. And also, often people like listening to the author read, right? It's supposed to be kind of, I don't want to say attractive, but like, not in a physical sense necessarily, just, it's cool that it's read by the actual author. You get the true feeling behind it, what characters are supposed to sound like, how their names are pronounced, all that sort of jazz when the actual author reads their own work out loud. Although, I say that and just thinking about, oh, there's some stuff I've been listening to where the original author hasn't been reading it, but she can't read it because she's dead. But instead they get actors from one of the productions for the TV series of it to voice it, which is really cool. So it's more like a radio drama-esque type thing than a actual audiobook, if that makes sense. Like, they're still reading the script. They're reading the novel as is, but it comes in the case of they're usually written in the perspective of one character, and they got the actor for that character to come in and read the book, and then for the main character, who's not the perspective character, they got the actor for that person to step in too. I don't think that they get the other actors involved necessarily, but for the rest of it, it's really, really nice. It's really, really good. I highly suggest. It's the Hercule Poirot series when they have David Suchet and Hugh Grant. Is that right? I think it might be Hugh Grant. Let me check. Hugh Grant. Yeah, it's Hugh Grant. When they have them reading the book. It's immersive. It's immersive. Yeah. It is, yeah, being able to listen when you're unable to do anything else. Like when you're driving, when you're operating a vehicle, and it's something that you know very well, or just long periods of time, having something to occupy your mind with without having to read. Yeah, I know who James Forsters is. I remember when Buffy the Vampire Slayer was airing, my sister was very much enamored with the series. My sister was enamored with Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I had a cousin enamored with X-Files. Although those were different time periods. Those are different time periods, I believe. For the most part. He also has done a few other things too, right, James Marster? I haven't read Dresden Files, though. I've read a little bit about it in general for research purposes. Marston. Wait, Marston? Marsters. No, Marsters. Okay. There's something else I know him from that's not just Buffy. It's not just Buffy. What the fuck is it? Okay, something we're not gonna name. That was... I actually did watch some of Angel, and he may have done a cameo or something, but I don't think he was a big player in Angel. And that's like Buffyverse. That's all Buffyverse. I guess he was in 24 episodes of that, but a lot of it was guest. It was a main role in 5. I was looking more at like, he was in Dragon Ball Evolution as Piccolo. Let's not talk about that one. He's in Smallville, Torchwood, Scooby-Doo, Dragon Ball Super. He's done a lot of audiobooks though. That's pretty cool. He's done a lot of audiobooks. Yeah, I guess I was wrong. I guess that Buffy was one of the bigger things. Yeah, he was Piccolo. Early 2000s? I guess that's more like mid 2000s to start because, what is it? 2007 was when the second or third Doctor premiered, right? Something like that. I remember, I think, watching... Actually, it must have been the second. It was David Tennant, wasn't it? It was David Tennant. Because the first Doctor back in that region of Doctor Who only lasted 1 season. I've never actually seen that Dragon Ball movie. I've never seen the Dragon Ball movie. I also never saw the... I've never seen the Avatar movies. None of them. Absolutely zero. I've missed out on a lot of those things. I've had periods of sleeping through popular media. Okay. Sorry, there's Babushka. It's not great. I've heard that the first movie for Avatar was pretty much Pocahontas, but blue in space. And the second one is another... It can be like dumbed down to another trope, right? I don't know which one though. You do trust that the Piccolo actor is good? Maybe. I still can't unhear the first... Well, my first Piccolo actor? I still actually really get caught up in... Yeah, there's no other Avatar movies. What are you talking about? But yeah, for Piccolo, all I can think of is, I guess, the one that aired on US TV. That Piccolo from a certain time period. Yeah, it would be totally cool if they made a... I never watched the TV series for Avatar. Or rather, I never sat down and watched it. Any of them. But I'm sure it'd make people very happy if they actually made a faithful Avatar movie at some point. It's a shame. But yeah, Piccolo. I think I showed this AMV before, but there's an AMV where they got the US voice actor for Piccolo to sing a song about being a cucumber. I say sing. It's not like really singing. It's not that I don't think he's capable. It's just more so like it's a really fucking bad song because it's a Rack Show song. I'm a cucumber. I'm a cucumber. That song. It's not really sung even in the original show. But they got him to sing it. They recorded it. They made an AMV for it. So it's just kind of and that's out there on the internet for everyone to remember if people remember, which I don't think people do. Like, I know that Dragon Ball is still popular, but it's kind of moved on. People are over Lincoln Ball Z AMVs, right? Not that this was at Lincoln Ball Z, just I think AMVs are kind of dead, aren't they? AMVs. Oh, no, wait. Someone did tell me that they do make AMVs still, but they're called something else on TikTok, right? I don't really know a whole lot about TikTok. This is all secondhand information. Like, they only do small, tiny snippets, like a minute-long snippets. Minute-long AMVs to sections of songs now. Yeah, the fan cams. Yeah, like, what the fuck? Let's see. What the fuck is a fan cam? I do have TikTok. I've barely used it. So when I look at fan cams, what am I gonna see? Like, okay, fan cams are... Oh, this is something to do... It's a K-pop originating term. AMVs Fox of fan cams can run. AMVs are still fine. AMVs are not... AMVs are still alive. I downloaded an AMV recently. I downloaded an AMV a few weeks ago. They still make them. Thank you, Ty Games, for the follow. Okay, so... It is kind of a TikTok-y thing. Ish. It's not like people put them on... They make them into YouTube shorts now, don't they? It's like YouTube short AMVs. Fuck. So if you're saying if I want to live out my AMV creator dreams, I should make fan cams for TikTok and YouTube shorts or something? Is that what I should be doing? I guess it's never been easier to make AMVs, actually. Technically. It is kind of nice that it seems like make an AMV and call it retro style. I mean, people already do that too. What AMV got you into anime? There's so many options, but I probably heard of it. If it was a good AMV. Not bragging, just saying. Just there, when I was watching AMVs, they started off relatively, I guess, simple because there weren't too many options. A lot of cuts more so, unless you were doing, unless you were actually drawing or something. But then they started evolving and using a lot of masking and effects, and now they've kind of cycled back into being simpler cuts potentially. You could still spend a lot of time making custom works. It's just that it's no longer in style, I guess. Necessarily. And as you said, it's not dead, it's just not quite the same as it used to be. Even AMV.org, it's not active in the same way as it used to be, unfortunately. People age in and out. And I guess people, instead of being AMV creators, they want to do other things like become YouTubers. Broken Wings, Chrono Crusade? Okay, that one I actually haven't heard of. Let me check real quick. Actually, I never really watched Abridged. I was forced to watch Abridged, but I never really liked it, I guess. I never really liked it. No, I'm thinking more like Nostromo stuff. Nostromo, Chigaboom, that sort of thing. Very... I don't want to say it didn't start with the candy pop like Skittles, but Skittles certainly helped. Skittles certainly helped. No, I think that was kind of like an AMV hell too. It kind of like branched off into the multi-show, no plot line, just really fancy editing work that was very impressive. And then there is the, I guess, like heavy lip syncing, masking, plot heavy stuff of Abridged. I say plot heavy, but like there are words that mean things, and what's happening on the screen, it probably relates to those words. Unlike Skittles, where they're generally just throwing out shit. Or like Sugar or Caramel Dancing, where what the fuck are they even saying doesn't even really matter, as long as it's kind of a little lip syncy, but not huge amounts necessarily, and a lot of dance moves. A lot of dance moves. Yeah, how did he get one? Candy pop. I see you, you see me, got too much candy pop in me. Yeah. A few weeks ago, I watched AMV's chat. The VOD is kind of dead because I didn't save it, and it muted huge chunks that weren't even including the music from the song. Cringy. It wasn't even like, it was kind of at YouTube. You got your shit off of YouTube? You just get it off the org. Just get it off the org. Then you get the like actual quality it was meant to be, and not like a YouTube rip. You start with YouTube? God, when did YouTube was 2006? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, no, I don't. No, I don't want to listen to that. Just real quick, YouTube. Like YouTube Wikipedia? When did YouTube... I know what caused YouTube to kind of like get popular. It's just more of a case of like when. Okay. 2005. 2005 is when it started. Okay. I started downloading AMVs before then, so maybe I already kind of... and also, I think AMV.org... When did AMV.org come out? I actually looked this up before, and I talked about it. animemusicvideos.org/user ID 1. When was user ID 1 dealt with? 2000. It was created in 2000. Because that's when the first member occurred. Or, like, happens. Yeah, there are definitely AMVs that came with, or should have come with, seizure warnings. There are definitely AMVs that... I still think there's one that I'm not necessarily missing, but one that I have in my collection that I feel like I've definitely heavily warned people about beforehand. And I thought I should have, but at the same time, I feel like that wasn't exactly it. It wasn't flashy enough. Because it literally was like every other frame was a different show for one section where they were interlaced. I say interlaced. Not like interlaced in the progressive interlace sort of meaning, but more of a case of one frame is one thing. I guess progressive. It's progressive. One frame being show A, next frame being show B, then back A, B, A, B. That was really flashy. I actually only have one Naruto A and B, as far as I know. Of my own volition. Interpolated. Interpolated is probably a very good word for it. I feel like that is something that would have come up in... disambiguation. Sort of, I think. Sort of. I think generation of intermediate frames. It's in-betweening, but it's like not exactly in-betweening. There might be another word for it. There might be another word for it. Because there is... I say that because Nostromo was named the editor and a professional video editor in general, and he would actually take things that were made at 30 frames per second, or whatever it is for anime. Is it 30 or is it 27? Something akin to maybe 24 even? And he would actually do interpolation to make them 60 FPS. He would actually upgrade the original source somehow. I'm not certain what process he did, but I'm guessing adding extra frames via some process that I don't know. And that was a bit difficult because most people's computers were not actually able to handle it at the time, but for him, no big deal. Professional. But it was kind of a really cool mark. I think back in these days, though, because it was the move to Blu-ray, it was probably closer to... It was higher. Like, maybe for older ones, 12, unless it was a particularly flashy sequence. But in these days, moving from... In those days, I should say. Moving from VHS to DVD to Blu-ray. DVD to Blu-ray. Going from 480... I guess it was 480p at the time, actually, because... No. DVD interlaced still? I guess it would depend on the actual source. I guess that you had your choice of that, depending on what the source was like. But going from that to 720/1080p. It was a lot easier with the higher quality stuff. 480p DVD? Okay, so that was the case. I think part of the problem was that some of the series that I had from earlier were... The original source was not progressive because they weren't made for that time frame. So like the 90, 95, 96, 97 anime that were brought over onto DVD after they'd already been on VHS were more often not interlaced. So you had to use the VLC setting in order to kind of fake it. You had to fake it to smooth it out, otherwise it looked kind of jank. It sucked, but that's what it was. And now they're available on Blu-ray! Cram all the episodes on. Hope that it's been at least decently upscaled to 720p. Because it sure as hell... Unless they rescans it, but I don't think that happens very often. It's really nice seeing... actually, I did show this off before at one point, the differences between the remastered... An original AMV made in, I think, like 2000s, using... I don't think that they were necessarily... Actually, shit, they probably were using VHS. No, they probably weren't using VHS. Laserdisc. They were probably using Laserdisc at that time. Using Laserdisc, I think, for the original AMV. And then someone remaking it later, like, as faithfully as possible, because it wasn't the original creator. Using the remastered version of the series, because it's Eva. It was Eva. So like, even though it's old, people are fans enough that it's worthwhile for them to put it out in like as high quality as possible. It's dedication, but it's also a lot easier than it used to be, especially considering it's an AMV that is from 2000, so it's actually relatively simple. Relatively simple. I say that how to put it? I feel like it's... The hardest part is probably finding exactly where the shots came from if you're not super familiar with the source material. But I think recreating an AMV like that is easier than you would imagine. Also, like, it's a pretty... for its time? I say for its time. It's just a good AMV in general. It's just a good AMV in general. What I'm talking about is Angle. And where is Angle? Actually, I can check really quick because they have a whole thing about the remastering on here. So here's the information for the Angle remaster. Yeah, every single copy was like really terrible, but you know what? It's what we had at the time. Edits have been kept within 1 frame of the original videos. Perfect frame accuracy is not possible because the originals were made from an analog field-based sources, with the fields blended to display at 30 frames per second, which is not going to match up with the progressive 24 frames per second. And some sections were masked, apparently. So I guess he has... Oh, he made multiple ones. He made multiple ones. So Angle is just one of many. Angle is just one of 12 videos that he upgraded. Okay. Okay. But just more of a case of... I didn't realize he did multiples, so it's more of a case of, like, how long did it take? How long did it take? Probably not as long as you would think. That could be fun though, like finding an old AV and upgrading it, so to speak, if you're able to find a higher quality source. But that might not be possible with a lot of older shows, honestly. Like Ava is one of those few where, as I said, it really could be done. Dragon Ball might also be possible. I know that they were putting out remasters, but I think that may have also kind of died out a little bit. I vaguely remember them actually hiring people in Texas, I believe, to remaster it. Like, they were actually, like, basically repainting portions of it, trying to make it as accurate as possible. It was a lot of work. I don't know if it paid off for them. Did anyone ever hear about that project? Let me see. If it would be possible to have an AI? That actually wouldn't be the worst, would it? That wouldn't be the worst. Basically, it's just... You would have to say no? You know what? It actually might be helpful in some regards of being able to sort through data to find the points where content is from. That would be really useful, actually. That would be probably like the biggest time issue, I would imagine. Being able to tell it, find me these particular keyframes, the upscaled versions of these. Do a Google image search for these particular frames through this pile of video. That would be awesome. That'd be really great. I actually used to play a game, name that anime, that was a bit like that. You would post a frame of something, a show, and others would have to guess what the frame was. And this was back in the day when Tenai was just kind of budding, so it was kind of initially it was a little bit honor system don't cheat, but eventually we all got wise. I don't want to say wise to it, but it was more of a case of it's far too easy for a lot of these things. So having to resort to obscure anime or just really obscure screenshots that would not have been captured by Tenai in the past. I learned a lot about some very niche anime during that process. I say that, and now I guess, like, retro is back in, right? So people probably know what Patoliro is. What's Michael? Actually, maybe not What's Michael. People do know, people might know Ushio and Tora. People might know Ushio and Tora. Because that one got a re-release and also got a new anime, which was just kind of a holy shit. It's been 30 fucking years, and you're finally coming out with something more than an OAV for it. I think I still own that, but I haven't actually watched it. Okay, I think I'm going to... Let's see. Who's up? Who is up? It's old even for you. Ushion Tora? Let me check something else out real quick. Finally got... I've never actually seen Battle Angel Alita either, honestly. I've never seen Key the Metal Idol either. There's a whole bunch. I was very limited. Unlimited internet-ish. Limited funds for VHSs. Actually, that reminds me of one of the first times I saw Iron Mouse. I caught her when she was singing a song from a particular show. She was singing from a song from Fushigi. She was singing Noriko's song. Song of Wind, I think it is? Wind song? That was nice. It was very much a surprise, though. It was very much a surprise. I don't know how many people... I mean, there were lots of people in the audience at the time, like in chat, so it's just more of a case of how many of them actually know what it's from? Probably a small percentage, but even with a small percentage, it was a lot of people. Okay. Huh. Joruna is doing a special event. I wonder what she's doing. I see that it's karaoke? It's karaoke of some sort. Putting jeans on the Gundam? What's this? Let's take a look. We're gonna raid Joruna actually today. Thank you very much for coming actually today. For watching and helping with Scythe. Even though we lost. We've learned lessons for next time. What's coming up next? On Sunday, we are going to be completing the story Drayden in Love from City of Saints and Madman. We're going to be completing that. And also, I may or may not have a new toy to try out for that. We'll see. I mean, I do have the toy. It's just a question of like, is it really prepared yet? I got a new microphone. It's gonna be a wild ride. Drayden in Love is going to be a wild ride. We have 30 pages left, and after that we're going to start another story from that series, from that book. And next week, probably more Legend of Mana on Wednesday. And we'll see about Friday if we're going to play. We should play more Scythe. On Friday. But I'm going to probably post a schedule on Sunday night or Monday, sometime during Monday, early day / midday, before I go to bed on Monday. Thank you very much again for coming, and have a good night.